Can I please have a motion and a second to reconvene the public meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our servicemen and women? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can the district clerk please call the roll?
Marisol Mallon, President.
Present.
April Natelli, Vice President.
Present.
Jackie DiLorenzo, Trustee.
Present.
Sarah Parisi, Trustee. Melissa Torregrossa, Trustee. Michael Imbraham, Student Board Member. Dr. Joseph Senimore, Superintendent.
Present.
Reza Kolahifer, Assistant Sup for Admin and Personnel.
6-7, everybody.
Robert Hauser, Assistant Sup for Business and Operations.
Present.
Christina Poppy, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the October 7, 2025 meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to suspend the business meeting and convene the audit committee meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Sanders from Cullen and Danowski? You just have to press the button on the bottom of the microphone, on the right. It's like on the keypad, on the pad on the bottom.
Oh, on the keypad.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Good evening to the Board of Education, Administration, and the public. My name is Jill Sanders. I am partnered with the firm of Cullen and Danowski. We have concluded the audit of the financial condition of Connecticut School District as of June 30th, 2025. Our report is dated October 15th, and we have provided you with some materials as a result of that audit. The larger document that you have on top is the actual financial statement. And to just walk through that sort of quickly, behind the table of contents is the auditor's opinion, and it's in the same fashion as last year's presentation. We're auditing on the various funds that the school district has and the overall entity-wide financial statement, which is the governmental activities. We know that the general fund mirrors the activities of the operating budget, and our opinions with respect to all of the funds and the government activities, except for the extra classroom activity fund, is what's known as an unmodified opinion. It's the highest level of assurance that the district gets, that the financial statements for those units are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The extra classroom activity fund, since it's operating on the cash basis, and we cannot audit the inception of the cash receipts for fundraising, as in most school districts throughout Long Island, we render what's known as a qualified opinion, as you could see. Does not mean that there are not controls within the extra classroom activity funds. I think the Board of Education knows that you have a very good internal control structure in place. You have essential treasurers at the buildings that are involved in the student activities and clubs. You have students who are working with faculty in order to run the clubs and activities and handle the financial transactions. And you have an audit process in place. It just talks to the fact that at the collection, the time money is collected, we cannot audit that, okay? So that's why there's a qualification. The opinion goes on for several pages, and following the opinion then is the management's discussion and analysis, which is some summary information. There's lots of information. I think what I would focus on is the fourth bullet, because the fourth bullet talks about the school district's financial situation or condition, based upon the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is the way that the books and records are maintained. And there's a number of things that we as the auditor look at. We look at the operating results for the year, and then we also look at the end of the year, your fund balance. And you know that your fund balance has various components. You have the unassigned piece, which is available for rainy day and emergency purposes. You have the appropriated piece. And where you might see these numbers in management's discussion and analysis is going to be back on the bottom of page 11 in management's discussion and analysis. So this is important because this is as of the conclusion of the school year. We look at the revenues, we look at the expenditures. The difference between revenues and expenditures is either going to create fund balance or it's going to reduce the fund balance. And you could see when we compare from 24 to 25, the last row overall, there's been a reduction in fund balance, okay? And so you'll know that also because when you look further in the financial statement, we know that the state allows you under real property tax law to have 4% of next year's budget in unassigned fund balance. This year, you came up a little bit short, okay? So things are definitely tighter, okay? You'll see now up above the unassigned, there's an assigned piece. And the assigned piece is what's used, that first number, the $5.9 million, is what's used to reduce the levy for the next year. And then the district has various reserves that have been approved by the Board of Education. We audit them. They're in accordance with general municipal law, and the capital reserve is in accordance with education law. And you can see the changes between the 2 years. And you know that there's going to be a change because you use a good portion of the reserves to help support your budget and reduce the tax levy also, okay? So as a result of the financial condition at the end of the year, the reserves have gone down. If the reserves go down, then that means going forward that you don't have as much to appropriate, okay, towards the following year's budget. So you're in good financial condition. It's just a watch, okay? As your auditor, it's watch over the next couple of years. You may need to tighten things up a little bit. You're giving a good portion back of your funding to support the budget between the appropriated fund balance and the reserves. When you look at the combination of those two numbers, you're giving back about $13.7 million in total funding to support the next year's budget. Okay, so that's a fairly high percentage. Okay, and I know that you work really hard to put a budget forth. That's a budget that can be worked with, and I know the administration works really hard to contain costs. And some of this is a function of health insurance costs increasing, educational costs increasing. You know, there's a number of mandated things that you need to deal with as a Board of Education. I just wanted to bring this to your attention because it's different than years past as far as the fund trending. Is there any questions on that piece before I move on?
Yes, quick question. You said we didn't meet that 4%. Where, do you know exactly where we are? How far away from that 4% we were?
Sure, and that's a great question. So you're not that far away. There's a schedule in the financial statement. You're 3.62% back on page 66. And so this is a good depiction of where you could be. So the state looks at your total budget for next year. In the middle of that schedule, it's $229 million. Okay, and you could see that the district came up a little bit shy, okay? Plus the appropriated reserves were not able to be replenished to the extent that they were in previous years also. So it's a combination of the two things.
So could you say that again?
The appropriated reserves were not able to be replenished to the same extent as they were in the previous year, or years, rather. Okay. Any questions on that? I know it's a lot of information. What I would say, if you have any questions, please, refer them to Mr. Hauser. I'm more than happy to respond to individual questions or questions that, you may need to discuss collectively with me. But like I said, you're in good financial condition at this point. It's just a watch, okay, because it's different than years past. And everyone knows that, state aid, that's a little bit uncertain, especially with the federal component, and rising costs and mandated costs, which are really out of your control. One new thing in the financial statement as far as implementation, and we talked about this a little bit at the planning meeting, there's something called Government Accounting Standards Board number 101, compensated absences. And this is one of those long-term liabilities. When we look at the presentation on page 20, this is not the way the district's books and records are maintained. Okay, this is, as I've talked about in the past, every liability due from now until eternity that's known. And we know that a lot of these liabilities you provide for within your budget each year. But they're going to be large amounts of money when we think about the fact that something like other post-employment benefits liability, and you can see there's two pieces here, due and payable within 1 year and due and payable after the 1 year. This is an actuarial valuation. of the total amount that if you had the ability to fund somewhere, you would need to cover health insurance costs for existing employees and employees who have retired from here till their mortality based upon certain information. So this looks a little bit scary, okay, but this is not an indicator of the financial condition of the school district. But the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is in the compensated absence payable number, which it's in two places here. What GASB 101 said is in years past, you were required to present what you would pay out on for employee termination based upon the days that they had in their bank and whatever the bargaining unit contract or individual agreement provided for. With GASB 101, which is now in this financial statement, and there's a discussion about it further on in the financial statement, now you have to value also the time that's going to be used. So if I have sick time, okay, and that sick time accumulates, and I have an award of sick time each year, and I have a usage rate each year, I have to look at that historically and make a determination just for financial statement purposes, okay, because we know that's part of someone's salary that you're paying. But for financial statement purposes, in this presentation, I'm required to value that based upon historical events and the rate of pay in place, okay? So that looks a little bit different, and you'll see an increase in the liability. I would not be concerned. This whole financial statement that we're looking at together now is for presentation purposes only, okay? The financial statement that's a better indicator for the Board of Education to work with is the financial statement on page 22. This is a balance sheet. It's each and every fund that the Board of Education has authorized. And as I mentioned, the general fund mirrors the operating budget results. There's a special aid fund, and this is where all the grant funding comes for the special education programs and other remedial programs that the district has. You'll see there's no fund balance here because to the extent we spend, then we recognize the revenue. So that's deliberate presentation. You have a food service fund, okay, and so that has some fund balance, as you could see. And you have a debt service fund. This is where you transfer money to pay down bans if they're redeemed. And there was a ban redemption of $775,000 this past year. You pay down interest when you refinance. District did a good thing this year as far as the financing, so we're going to go through that in a couple of minutes. If you refinance, you would see it here, but to the extent that you have any interest generated on money that had not been spent for the capital projects, when you did borrowing, you would see this here also. The capital project fund, and the district has a lot of work going on. You know that you have budget transfers that are being expended, you have your capital reserve in place, and then you also have the financing that was approved by the community, the long-term financing. So that's all in the capital projects fund when you get the chance to look at it. And there's a very large schedule. It runs for 3 pages. It starts back on page 67. And it goes through page 69, and it will show you all of the projects that are ongoing with the school district. So there's a lot of activity that's being monitored, okay, by the school district with respect to the capital construction that's in progress. And so the first part of the schedule is when it says 2017 to 2018 capital projects. Those were transfers provided through the budget. Okay, and obviously if there's a balance all the way off to the right, that means there's still some money to be expended, and the district has been looking at the purpose for which those funds were set aside, and it's identifying additional projects which can be undertaken to expend those funds. You could see underneath that the bond project from 2015, and there's very little money left over. Then you could see the 2019 bond project, and then you could see the most recent bond project, okay, for which the district used bond anticipation notes in order to save interest for the school district, temporary borrowing rather than bonding until the point where you're almost complete with the work, so that there is some savings generated. There's an extra classroom activity fund, a scholarship fund, and then there's some permanent scholarship money that had been donated to the school. Okay, so I wanted to show you that because this is the snapshot as of June 30th. And then when you wanted to see the actual activity for the year, if you look at page 24, this will then show you revenues and expenditures for each of the various funds. Okay. And so I think, you know, when I was talking about the change in the financial position for the school district, the third row from the bottom in the general fund, okay, you can see, okay, so that's a little bit different than years past. And then you could see the fund balance for each of the other respective funds. Okay. And then there were reconciliation pages behind each of those pages that we looked at before to show you how you get to the figures on the statement of net position and the statement of activities. Are there any questions on that? Okay. The next document in your packet is going to be a communication to you, the board. It looks very much like a letter. It's the document that will tell you if we had any issues in conducting the audit, and there's none described. And then if there was anything that was handled through the transactions that was contrary to generally accepted accounting principles, which there was nothing. I appreciate the cooperation, Mr. Hauser and the business office, with whatever we request in the audit process. It's given to us timely, and we do get all of the information that we need in order to complete the audit. And there are attached to that document are some journal entries that we propose. The district typically goes ahead and posts those journal entries to their books and records, so it matches the financial statement. And when they file their document online, the ST3, with the State Education Department, all of those figures will also match up with the financial statement. The next document I think you have in your packet is the management letter. Is that right? Yes? Okay. So the management letter, there are no new comments for the year, so I think that's a good thing. And there are a number of comments that the district did clear. So 2 of the comments were cleared. 1 comment is in progress, and 4 are still in the process of being worked on. 2 of the 4 in the extra classroom activity fund area, and this is difficult because there, as you can appreciate, there's a lot of individuals involved. There's lots of faculty advisors. There's new students every year that are involved. And so in every school district that we audit, this is common, that you're trying to get best practices in place, okay, in order to make sure that you have the record keeping match up with what really the financial activity is. We did a lot of testing of the rate receipts and disbursements. We didn't see anything necessarily. Our 2 comments have to do with tying student records back to the extra classroom activity fund treasurer's records and maintaining profit and loss statements for the fundraising activities, okay, and making sure those match up with the books and records, just so that we can see, you know, is there a profit, is there a break even? If there was inventory involved, is there a reconciliation of what inventory still exists? So those are 2 of the 4 that I talked about. And then the other areas, as I mentioned, there's a lot of work being done in the capital project fund area. So we had a comment last year, and we recognize that the district is looking at utilizing those funds in accordance with what the community approved for those funds to be spent. And then the last one has to do with maintaining the capital asset inventory records. It's a third-party system, and so there were a few assets that were not added. Nothing significant, but just to kind of shore up those controls a little bit better. Any questions on that? Okay. And the last report then is a report on the extra classroom activity funds. And so the extra classroom activity funds, this is a cash basis report. So when you look at the numbers here versus what you see in the general purpose financial statement that we looked at first, there's going to be some differences because in the general purpose financial statement, there's some receivables and there's some payables for the clubs. So they have been reconciled, but they will look different. And as you can see, when you get the opportunity to review this, there's about $690,000 in round numbers that runs through the collective clubs and activities. The beginning balance was about $233,000, and the ending balance was $236,000. And there's detailed subsidiary ledgers for each of these clubs and activities that is maintained by the school district. Were there any questions? I realize it's a lot of information.
Just a quick question about the the one that has the adjusting journal entries.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, just to know, is it typical, like, there's quite a few pages here, is that typical for a school district to have that many adjusting entries?
So the actual transactions that represent revenues and expenditures for the district on an ongoing basis, there's no adjustments that relate to those. These adjustments relate to the timing, so we're going to have, obviously, as we enter the audit, we're doing the work maybe September, October, so this information when the books are closed not available to the business office and available to us. And then some of the entries have to do with the capital fund and how you handle bond anticipation notes. And I have to tell you, those are very difficult journal entries, and it's a very difficult way to do the accounting, especially when you're redeeming and then you're going ahead and changing the borrowing. So I know it does look like a lot, but based upon the types of entries, when you look at the description. And the other thing too, on the last page, the district doesn't necessarily post the extra classroom activity fund the way that we posted in the financial statement. So these entries from 29 down on through 32, these are reclass entries because their books and records present them in a different fashion. So I know it looks like a lot, but
Does anybody else have any questions? Thank you. Oh, go
I
ahead.
have one more, actually, I guess it's more for us, for Mr. Hauser, and you too, I suppose, just the, and I don't even know how big of an issue this is or anything, but the computer permissions for accounting software, just, I guess it's where people have access to certain parts and it's not really part of their job description. I don't know that we've even found any issues with that at this point, but is there oversight on that? Like, do we have to make sure that, people are only going kind of where they're supposed to go?
And that's a good point. One of the things we do here, or that we have done in the past, that we are taking a better look at is when someone leaves a position in the district and we hire someone to replace them, what we've done in the past is we've just copied the permissions that that prior person had over to the new person, more of an assumption that they're going to be doing the same thing and having the same access. So instead of just doing that automatic copy of the permissions, we're actually looking at what that person who was newly hired is actually doing and what permissions they actually need in the accounting software.
Okay, thank you.
there was improvement in the area also, and I'm going to modify, that's a really good question, I'm going to modify the final version of the management letter because it was only one instance. The district provided us with additional information today, and they agreed when they looked at their records that that one area that needs to be removed from the person who has user permissions will be done shortly. Okay. You did it today. Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I please have a motion and a second to accept the 2024-2025 external audit report as presented?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion and a second to suspend the audit committee meeting and reconvene the business meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. So we have some presentations on some of the curriculum programs that we have in our district, and we will start with student services. And is that you? And Dr. Pisani. Does that work? Yes.
Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the board, Dr. Senamore and Cabinet, for inviting me to speak this evening. The presentation tonight is to provide updates related to student support services with a focus on our district initiatives specific to mental health supports. Our district continues to focus on a comprehensive approach to support the mental health of our students. Connectquot's mental health education literacy model provides a full continuum of services to help our students achieve overall wellness. To help support the mental health of our student population, we continually evaluate our data, which drives both our prevention and intervention supports. As seen here, data from the end of last school year, 24-25, as reported by the social workers district-wide, 40% of the students were seen for counseling support. It is important to note that this number did not include the school psychologist and school counselor caseloads. Additionally, 67 students were in need of a higher level of intervention from our district outreach counselor. 24 of those students were school refusal and 2 PINS cases. To put the continuing level of need in perspective, by the end of our service contract with PM Pediatrics, July of 2025, data showed 548 visits serving 116 students. Last year, 18 students were hospitalized, with currently 7 students since the beginning of this school year. By the end of the first month of school, 27 students were serviced at Northwell's Behavioral Health Center. We are fortunate here in Connecticut to have a large mental health staff who can provide counseling support and make referrals to Northwell in an effort to establish care coordination. These services have been essential as they connect our students to care without delay. So here's our mental health literacy framework. To help support our students' mental health needs, our district provides a comprehensive approach to wellness, which includes multiple components, including support from committees, programs, and community partnerships. The upcoming slides will review each component in detail. The Mental Health Advisory Council reviews our current mental health programs for both students and staff. Our council this year is comprised of 31 members, which includes various stakeholders, students, parents, teachers, mental health support staff, nurses, administrators, and community agencies. The mission of the council is to ensure the mental health needs of our school community are addressed comprehensively. Goals include supporting our district-wide mental health initiatives, review, monitor, and assess specific programs, actively represent stakeholders to support program design, delivery, and service evaluation, and serve as an unbiased, independent sounding board for students and families in our school community. Counseling support services in school is provided by our district mental health staff at tiered level support. Social workers provide educationally related support services for interventions by means of counseling, individual and group, parent meetings, referrals, crisis counseling in collaboration with their building level teams, transitional support services, and weekly IST meetings discussing response to intervention. Our continued partnership with Medical Center is essential for our growing student mental health concerns. This year, we welcome the opportunity to partner with Northwell, replacing PM Pediatrics. Their services include access to mental health services at their Behavioral Health Center in Comac for our students who need urgent, same-day intervention, psychiatric assessment, care coordination with linkage to services for ongoing counseling support. Through our Northwell partnership, parents in our school community are able to connect to Northwell for support independent of a school referral. In addition to counseling services, Northwell provides school consultations as needed and numerous PD for our school staff, as well as community education for parents to help promote overall wellness. Our families can benefit from their extensive mental health resources, which can be located under the mental health tab on our district website. So lastly, on this slide, please mark your calendars. This Thursday, 7 p.m., Northwell will present a virtual workshop for parents titled Creating Healthy Digital Boundaries. This workshop, participants will learn about the pervasive impact of digital media on children and adolescents, including its effects on the mental health, the sleep, and social interactions. The presentation offers parents practical strategies and tools to foster healthy digital habits.
Any reminder will go out?
A reminder has gone out. Did you see it from Liz Weiss? I believe she sent it this afternoon on Parent Square, but it will send another reminder out.
Will that be the only platform to remind parents? Because I'm not going to lie, I don't get my Parent Square notifications.
Okay. We could have the school send it out to our community, or I can make a robocall. I think when we did that for Community Wellness Day, I'm hoping everyone in the community was able to receive that message.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So in this slide, you will see a monthly report provided by Northwell, which gives an overview of their services since July of '25. This report is generated at the end of each month. As you see here, we had 27 students utilize their mental health services thus far. Reasons for the referrals range from anxiety, depression, situational stressors, ADHD, and emotional dysregulation. Our families are making referrals independent of the school. This is not a service we had with PM Pediatric, and one which shows the increased need for mental health support. With these services, our students are able to connect to care, helping children to which we may have not otherwise known about. So new for this year is an exciting project, Cohen Strong Mental Health. I am proud to share that 5 of our Connecticut High School students have been selected to participate in the program. And this is the first cohort of Connecticut students who will join other students from all over Long Island to serve as youth mental health leaders, advocating for student wellness in their schools. As a co-advisor, along with Dr. Raminetti, school psychologist, we will facilitate the student-led project and join the students on their trip to Albany, March 11th, for Mental Health Matters Day. I'm honored to have our district show representation in Albany this year, advocating for student mental health. Mental health education is provided for students at the elementary and secondary level. The school social worker provides this education through a series of lessons, grades K through 5, covering self-care, relationships, and resource management. A detailed letter has been sent home to all parents of students in K through 5 from my office. At the secondary level, health teachers cover topics on mental health provided by the mental health staff as push-in presentations, which include mindfulness and suicide prevention education. Bullying prevention education is a key component of mental health education literacy.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Can
sure.
we just go back to the previous slide on the 9 to 12? How is that being pushed in through the 10 through 12? I see in the 9th grade in the health classes, but how about 10 through 12?
So at the high school, it's my understanding that the social workers are pushing in. I can get clarification if 10, 11, 12 are receiving that information, but they do start with 9th grade.
Right, I just was wondering where in the school day 10 through 12 was getting
So
services.
they're pushing into the classrooms. I don't have the specifics on which classrooms they're pushing into, but I can get back to you on that.
Please, thank you.
I just have a comment too.
Sure.
When, even for the K through 5, you know, the health lessons, these are just maybe once a quarter or once a year, correct?
These lessons, there's 3 specific lessons, and they're throughout the year. So each grade will receive lessons. So for example, if it's September, they structure it depending on how many classes they have. September, October, they will push into the classroom, present self-care. And then later on in the school year, probably I would say January, February, then they move to the relationship lesson. And then the end of the year is the lesson on resource management. So throughout the year, every student in elementary school, K through 5, receives that level of support, the push-in model for mental health education literacy.
Right, so I'd like to know what we do. You know, I've asked this question too, and I'm going to speak about it later. We had a training recently, and they talked about the upstream, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this, where they talk about how there's a village, and people kept on falling into the stream and drowning, and they kept on trying to pull people out and save them and save them and save them, and finally one woman said, I'm going to go upstream to find out why they're falling in the water. Because we're dealing with the problem when it happens instead of going to figure out why the problem is even happening to begin with. So I just feel that if we only push in 3-4 times a year, you know, is that helping the kid in between all those spots? You know, like there's a gap there. What are we doing just on the daily basis to keep, you know, the mental health, the bullying, all of these things? And again, I'm going to speak on it later, but
Sure.
I just want to just put that in there so that we can, you know, and you and, you know, Ms. Poppy, are always thinking of new ideas and ways to make sure the day-to-day of the students is being taken care of, not just periodically.
So I'll just briefly speak to that. So in the classroom at the elementary level, the classroom teacher has a close connection with their students. So they're providing that warm handoff to the mental health professional if there are warning signs. I will speak to that in further slides when we talk about suicide prevention education in schools. But in addition to the push-in model lessons, we have our assemblies, we have United We Stand for Drug-Free Community Week, we have Random Acts of Kindness Week, we have our wellness days. So the social workers, the administrators, they're always looking to help connect our students to care and make sure that each of them have the supports they need. But I'll look into the upstream. I haven't heard of that before, and that metaphor. I will look into it. Sure. So we're on the bullying prevention education slide. As I had shared, it is a key component of mental health literacy. We have a task force. It continues to review programs and brainstorm ideas for new initiatives. Our bullying prevention action plan is in its final revision, soon to be distributed to all schools. The voices of our student representatives play a key role in our decision-making for bullying prevention and intervention supports. So in recognition of National Bullying Prevention Month, we are pleased to share that the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying has begun training for 24 student ambassadors, building upon the success of the student-to-student learning models we have in Connecticut. The ambassador program is co-led by Michelle Laux, the AP at the high school, and also Eileen McAlpine, she's our school social worker. Upon completion of the 3 sessions, students will visit the 3 elementary schools to pilot the program beginning during Random Acts of Kindness Week in February. So that's a new initiative that we're in the process of training our students. So we're very excited to share that.
I have a quick question, actually, because I know we talked about this during the meeting, and I did forget to ask during the meeting, but, you know, I'm so big on parental involvement. Parents were, I just have to know, they approved of this. They're allowing their child to be trained. And I'm not saying
Correct.
anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And I forgot to ask her, and
Yes,
I'm
they
very
did.
big
They
on
received
making
a
sure
letter
they know.
from the high school.
Okay, so they
They
know,
did.
and they know that their student is going to go to talk to the younger kids, and they know.
Yes, well, we're not at that stage
Not
yet.
yet,
We're just
but-
in the training,
Okay.
and they did receive a letter from the high school.
They're okay with it. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Let's make sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. So in this slide here, our district continues to stay vigilant on the rising concerns of addiction on Long Island. We are currently in celebration of our United We Stand for Drug-Free Community Week, continuing off the month-long of Islip Goes Purple. For this week, recognition goes to the district social workers who coordinate the week-long of the educational programs and events at all 10 schools, focusing on promoting a healthy lifestyle. Suffolk County Police Officer Fernandez is scheduled to visit all of our schools, as well as Northwell, and the outreach residents, I believe, spoke today at the high school and last week on the dangers of vaping and making healthy choices. So our prevention efforts continue throughout the year through our Drug and Alcohol Task Force, which meets to review programs and ideas for prevention, education, and awareness. I encourage our community to view the district website that was created by Joseph Modica. He's the AP at the high school. It's an exceptional resource for our students and families to access. You can scan the QR code. It's very tiny in the corner over here, or you can go directly to the district's homepage under mental health. Yeah. You want me to go back?
So if someone accesses that and wants this information, it is private, yes?
Yes.
It's not, there's no way that they can,
No, it's a resource, just as if you were to go to the district website and you were to search anything under the mental health resource tab. That's my understanding of it.
I'm not following that, your understanding. Is it confidential or not? Do you know?
Yes, if you're
It is.
accessing anything on our website, I guess this would be a question for IT. I don't know if they do a search who accessed the information on our district website.
Okay, so
It
is
would
there someone
be
that can give me that answer?
Confidential. I know IT is here.
I'll step in and we can just double check with the IT department, but it's a website, right? Which is a resource.
Correct.
So is your question, Ms. Parisi, can I follow your clicks and you're looking.
My question is, if a kid or a parent wants to go to this website, get information of any sort, it doesn't come up their name or anything like that. I'm thinking it should be completely private. Okay,
Yes.
for them to want to utilize it. I want to make sure that it is that way. So, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, there's no login required to
No.
access the site. There isn't any tracking method within the site to find out who's visiting and who's essentially reviewing the
Like, it won't
resources
come up.
that are
A
available.
person's name and or
No.
email won't come up or.
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. On this slide here, this is a slide that speaks about our suicide prevention education. Our district continues to provide this education guided by our district policy 5431. Our district suicide prevention trainers present at faculty meetings annually, reviewing the warning signs and how to provide a warm handoff to our mental health staff for students in crisis. The 988 crisis hotline is still available for support. Please share this number with anyone you know. This support can save a life. In this slide here, we are continuing with our emotional awareness and social learning EASL initiative with our monthly themes. This month, we focus on the theme of responsibility. Monthly flyers are sent out through Parent Square. So EASL is the process through which our students are learning to develop and apply skills necessary to understand and manage their emotions, build awareness for their self and others, establish interpersonal relationships, and learn how to make responsible decisions. Last year, we had 13 students that were recognized by the board, thank you, as our Connecticut Caring Leaders. They had recognition at the end of the year. They also have a framed photo that sits on the Wall of Fame at Student Services. And this year, we're very excited to share that LICAB will join the recognition and offer a scholarship to our caring leaders. So more to come on that exciting new part of our initiative. So you see here we have our, I'm sorry.
Nope. I just have a quick question. So I see you have your curriculum writing team. That's for the emotional, social learning part of this program.
Yes, we developed it a few years back.
Is there a way to implement it into a bullying program? Because I love all these programs and I think they're fantastic and I think they're great, but Connecticut has a huge bullying problem. So I don't know if there's any other way to address it. Assemblies are amazing, but they don't really work.
Right.
They just don't. So I don't know if like bigger heads can get together and find a different way to approach the bullying that we see and try to tackle it at the elementary level on up.
Well, this is why we have decided to utilize the student-to-student learning model, where the students are being trained, those 24 ambassadors through LICAB, the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying, and then from there they will be going down to the younger grades in the schools. So that was the decision of the task force, and that's part of our action plan. So
Yeah, and I think that's great. 24 students is, they're 24 students. They're not going to make the impact that like an adult in a classroom every day will make.
Right. Well, we recognize that need and we're moving forward with our initiative. Each building has a bullying prevention task force. So they have their student-led teams that meet to talk about what each individual building does for their supports for their students. If the board would like, I can receive information from each school and get back to you on specifically what different programs and events they're doing at each school.
I would like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here, this is an example of taking our EASL initiative. Ms. Nofi from RMS, the social worker, created this program in an effort to support EASL. We are expanding this to all schools. So she's in the process of turnkeying the program to all building social workers. So our influencers spread positivity, exhibit qualities of leadership, empathy, inclusiveness, good communication skills, respect, and embody our culture of connection. So more to come on Connecticut influencers. So Connecticut has embraced the all-in concept, which has infused perfectly into our EASL and GRIT initiatives. We are currently reviewing John Paul's character and wellness videos through our Bullying Prevention Task Force, and we are eager to share his resources with our school community. Shout out to the girls varsity volleyball team led by Coach Melfi, who are heading to the playoffs tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Let's go T-Birds, all in. Hope we bring home that win for us. So very exciting to watch them play. So in this slide, it shares our community partnerships, which are a vital success of our comprehensive mental health education literacy framework. This year at Community Wellness Day, we had over 700 participants with over 50 vendors and 14 student volunteers. This event was once again to the Connecticut Public Library, Ms. DiLorenzo, part of our planning committee, our sponsors at Youth Enrichment Service, and everyone who participated. The large attendance shows our district's strength and commitment to wellness. In addition, we give many thanks to our partners at the Ronkonkoma Rotary Club, the John Thiessen Children's Foundation for their generous donations to our school community. Thank you to Lauren Neckin, the high school AP, and the students for facilitating the annual 5K mental health run. And congratulations to our student athlete, the varsity softball player, who was awarded a scholarship from the partners at the Coluccio Foundation. Oop, one slide did not pull up over there. I'm not sure why, but you have a handout. So our Connecticut alumni gives back. Oh, there it is. I'm proud to share that 3 Connecticut grads have given back to our school community. Over this past year, I worked closely with each of them as they pursued their passions to support student health and wellness. Emma Zinkowski, for her Teen Guide to Health Emergencies pamphlet, was developed as her Girl Scout Gold Award project and is now available at our secondary health offices. Erin Rokovich and Gianna Knutson, they are Stony Brook Social Work students, created the You Matters Suicide Prevention Guide, which was distributed at our Community Wellness Day. We wish our alumni continued success in their fields of study. Lastly, this is our updated district mental health brochure created last school year by my office and is posted on the district website. If any student or parent or staff in our school community is in need of support, please reach out to any of the mental health professionals listed. We are always here to help. And in this slide, I don't know if we have time for it, but there was a short video that my clerical had prepared for you. So I'd like to play it if we have time. It's about 2 minutes, unless, is that okay with everybody?
No, absolutely. Play.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, I think Santa, you got it?
That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you to the board, Dr. Centimore and cabinet, and the entire school community for your continued support for our mental health programs and services. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Dr. Pisani.
Thank you. Thank you.
Special ed presentation, Ms. Winter and Ms. O'Hara, is that?
Good evening, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight. We're just going to kind of go over an overview of special ed department and some of the things that we're working on this year. So we wanted to start off with just kind of an overview of the special education staff right now. We currently, well, right now we have 2 CSE chair people. We are replacing one. One had left at the beginning of this school year. We have 4 special education coordinators, 1 transition coordinator, 105 special education teachers, 19 psychologists, 18 speech therapists, and 4 BCBAs. There are 2 staff members or 2 positions on there that I kind of wanted to highlight tonight. They're not really known within the district. They're not really that common staff member that you would see throughout the district. So the first one is the BCBA, or the Board Certified Behavior Analyst. There's 4 of them. They are assigned to mostly the buildings that have the majority of the special education, so Sycamore, Basti, and Cherokee, but they also do go to the smaller elementary schools, as well as the 2 middle schools and high school. What they do basically is they are working with students that are in crisis or that have some kind of a behavior concern. When students have a behavior concern, we kind of want to see where is that happening or where is that coming from. So we will recommend something called an FBA, or a functional behavioral assessment. The BCBAs will conduct those evaluations and then determine whether or not the student needs a behavioral intervention plan, or what we call a BIP. And that will help to guide the staff in the classroom in terms of what they can do to help support that student when they are having some behavior difficulties. So some of the responsibilities of a BCBA is they conduct the assessments for the FBAs, they develop the behavior intervention plans, they try to teach new behavior skills to the students that are having those issues with behavior, they collect and analyze the students' behavior and progress, they design and collect data collection tools to help the staff, classroom staff use throughout the day, they design and deliver professional development that are helping to implement those behavior plans for the students. They train and support classroom staff and teachers on different types of techniques, such as ABA, and they are also part of our crisis teams in the building. So when staff is having problems with students and they're having significant behavior, they will go to the classroom and they will help the staff members in the classroom to help that child that's in crisis. The other one is our district transition coordinator. We have 1 in the district. So our main goal in helping students, of educating them, students with special needs, is we want to make them independent when they leave high school. And so our transition coordinator is an integral part of being able to do that. So she's going to provide students or families with programs that are available to them once students graduate from high school. So it's a post-secondary plan that we put in place, and we start when students are at the age of 14. We start looking at where their interests are, where they want to go in terms of career, in terms of education, and our transition coordinator will help to have families get together with some of the outside agencies post-secondary. Okay, so some of the transition coordinator's responsibilities. So we work with an agency called Access VR, and they do orientation for students that have 504s and IEPs, grades 11 through 12. And what they will do, they will do an application for Access VR if students qualify. There are services that they will get after school is over, and sometimes even during high school. So like, for an example, if a student really is having a hard time with learning how to drive a car, they need specific individualized instruction in driver's ed. Access VR will provide that for them. once they go to school. If students are having a difficult time, if they're in college and they can't afford books or they need some special type of tutoring, Access VR will also help in that situation. Some of our students are more involved. We'll go through OPWDD, and we will help families secure placement after school. So those are where students are in kind of a workshop program after school or after they graduate, or some type of independent living that they might need outside of once they graduate. The transition coordinator participates in all post-secondary meetings and CSEs for graduating seniors to make sure that their transition goals are being met and that there isn't anything else that we need to provide them once they graduate from high school. They also are the contact person for any of our special education students that attend our vocational BOCES settings. So they set up the BOCES programs for the students as well as the transportation. They monitor, we have a lot of students that will work on off-campus sites. So many of our life skills students will go out into the community and work at some of the local businesses. The transition coordinator will make sure that there are placements available. She finds new placements for them and places students based on what their needs are and what their interests are. We also do provide some summer work programs for some of our special ed students, and our transition coordinator also sets up all of that summer work. She works with the Department of Labor to provide areas for those students to work. So sometimes in the summer, you might see some of our students working in the district. They work with the custodial staff a lot of times over the summer, helping to get the buildings ready for September. And then, again, I also said the daily transportation for BOCES and setting up weekly off-campus sites for our students. I'm going to turn it over to Deb.
I just want to thank
Yep.
you, Lori.
Sure.
This was one of my board discussions. I only recently found out about this position. This is an amazing position, and what the school district is doing for these families and ensuring that these kids are not just good at ConnectWhat, but after they leave ConnectWhat. I think it's amazing. Great, wonderful position.
First, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve the ConnectQuad community. It's been a pleasure. I've been here 2 months, and I feel like I'm back to my roots, special education. First impressions, okay? The district is committed to supporting every single student. You have a full continuum of services, related services, direct and indirect consult to the teachers, resource room, integrated co-teaching, and self-contained classes. Recently, this is the second year, you added an 813 program to BOSTI, several classes there. These are autistic children that normally would be out at BOCES. So huge undertaking for public schools, but many districts are doing this because it's the right thing to do to have children in their home schools or at least in their home district. You have an alternative education program, the Academy, very close to my heart because I oversaw the program at Longwood. Again, very, very important to have students who can't get up in the morning or students who just can't navigate your regular high school have a small academy to go to and get the same education that their peers would get to, and they just don't have to walk through that big door every morning. The BCBA is a plus. It is a contract service. It would be nice for special ed teachers to take the program. It's very extensive. It's very costly, but you're very fortunate to have an agency provide the BCBAs on a full-time basis rather than just popping in when needed, which is, in my day, that's what we did. We used to call one autistic consultant, and he was very busy. So it's nice to have somebody on staff. Your out-of-district placements, I looked at all 100 of the out-of-district placements, and in my opinion, they're all appropriately placed. I don't think any student was misplaced at a BOCES or a private school. They're very severely involved, emotionally disturbed, autistic population. Your partnership with Northwell is outstanding. It's critical for the population that we're seeing today, the anxiety, the ADHD, and some of the other comorbid disabilities that we're seeing. The clerical support is outstanding in the special ed office. They're professional, they're well organized, they're competent, and I have seen my share of special ed administrators as well as support staff. Current CSE, 504, CPSE chair people, coordinators are knowledgeable. They know their regulations, they're well organized. Oops. Okay. They're very receptive to parents. I was very impressed sitting on some of the CSE meetings where the first thing they do is do the introductions of all the staff, and then they say to the parent, what are your concerns? What would you like to get out of this meeting today? And they always check if there are any questions after every evaluation and report. And then in the end, they always ask, are you in agreement? Is there anything that you're not in agreement with? Is there anything else we can help you with today? I'm very impressed by that. You also have something unique here, and that's a 4410 preschool program. Outstanding. There are not many districts that would, again, take that on because it is a lot of work, and you're very fortunate to have it right in the district, right in your public schools. Challenges. We talked about the increase in ADHD, anxiety, autism, trauma. Therefore, that increases your number of accommodations, testing modifications, and support services. That's the reality. Increase in assistive technology needs. When you have the large autistic population that you have, you're going to have a large need in the assistive technology area. Teachers and teacher assistants need professional development. Lack of time for that professional development, lack of co-planning time so that a teacher can actually work with her TAs. The buildings do the best that they can in trying to get substitutes when the BCBA comes over and needs to talk to the team. It's what we're dealing with. It's a reality. A lot of districts are dealing with lack of substitutes, lack of being able to find this time in the day. Balancing the number of related services and pullouts and still having that core time for instruction, for reading and math is a challenge. In some districts, they hire a lot of part-time people to swing the schedule so that that interrupted time is not there. You have full-time staff, and they are looking very closely at, is it best to pull this child at this time, or should we be pushing in? And even having those conversations with parents. Yes, that child could use speech and reading services, but what will this child benefit more from at this time? So you kind of look at that as children get older, reducing the speech and giving more reading or math support, depending on what the issues are. I'm sorry.
For the challenges, the technology and the different staffing, is there grants that you know of that we can, apply to?
I've been looking at the New York State website. There has not been anything, and with the federal government shutdown, I don't see there being any flow-through grants from the federal government to the state of New York. But I'll keep looking.
Yeah, and I think we have to be careful with grants if they're used for hiring, because when that money runs out, then what? It's on the taxpayers. So I understand looking for all that, but I know we have to be careful with that because we don't want to then say, oh, we don't have enough money anymore, so goodbye. And then maybe a kid was benefiting from we got to really,
Yeah, and we take a good look at that because we want to make sure that we can sustain whatever we're putting in. So we don't want to put too much into the grant in terms of personnel for that reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, but for the technology part, 100%, I know a lot of them do that for the technology, to buy equipment and things we need.
I'm sorry. And we've been working with Liz Weiss in terms of how to bring a lot of that training in-house instead of going out and working with contracted employees. So what can they do to help us? They know a lot of these programs, so helping train the students and the staff instead of going out and paying for them to do it.
One of the last challenges for ConnectQuad specifically is the least restrictive environment. I took a look at your indicators. There are 17 indicators. The district doesn't report on each indicator for the state of New York every year. It's the way the state reports how well they are doing. So they take each district's results, they put them together, and then it shows how well the state is doing. Unfortunately, those indicators change every year, or at least the target changes, and that's what has me concerned about the least restrictive environment. We can look at the next slide. So with your school age, okay, for the 23-24 school year, the state is always a year behind, so the 24-25 data is not out yet. In regular education, 59.7% of your students with disabilities were served 80% or more of their day in regular education. The target was 59%. So you can see you just slightly met that target. B is inside the regular education, and the state target was 17.5%, and you were at 17.2%. Separate setting, you did not meet the target. You have more children in a separate setting than the state would like to see. The state's target is 4.9%. We have 5.6%. So it's something for us to take a look at and be mindful of, because they're going to change that target probably after they do all their data. Last year, the district reported only on parent involvement in special education, and we don't have those results yet, but you met the target as far as surveying the number of parents returning those surveys. That's a big piece for that parent involvement, is just getting them to complete the survey. On indicator 6, which is your preschool, I really need to explain this one to you. It's one of those catch-22s. Because you have a 4410 preschool, if a parent has a choice of related services only or a center-based program in district, they're going to go for that center-based program versus related services only in a private school district or a private pre-K program. So that's why you're not meeting the target there. That's just obvious. When you have a program in-house like this, parents are going to want to see their children in this program versus just related services. 504s was an area that the board discussed with me at length when I was interviewed, and I took a look at all of the 504s, digging deep into the ones from the high school and actually emailing every teacher at the high school their the children's accommodations. So the difference between a 504 plan and an IEP is a 504 plan substantially limits one or more of major life functions. So think of the ADHD child who is inattentive, okay? That disability impacts learning. What does that child need to have equal access to learning? That would be a 504 plan. Nothing gets changed curriculum-wise, no goals, no objectives, practically no services, maybe to see the nurse for medication, maybe to see a counselor when their anxiety complicates their ADHD, but there is no program for them. The IEP is a specially designed program for that child that has goals, that has related services, and that has a yearly annual review, where a 504 is transitional years, parent request, maybe a teacher's request, the child's not using their extra time, let's get it off of there. So those would be some of those meetings. But you had, I need my glasses for this one, you had over 440 students district-wide with 504 plans. Just think of one child having maybe 4 or 5 accommodations that classroom teacher has to take care of. I think of my husband, who's a retired art teacher, 300 students in the elementary school, and he says, how do I manage this? What kind of spreadsheet can I create to manage all of these accommodations in an art class? Now you're asking a social studies teacher, again, with 300 kids at the high school, to keep track of all these accommodations. In eSchool, there is a button for a teacher to see special alerts, 504s, and IEPs. It just, again, needs their time to create what works best for them in keeping track of that. On the IEP side, 787. These are this is based on 24-25 school year last year. I want to call to your attention that some of these buildings are off because the smaller schools do not have your integrated co-teaching model or your special class. So then those students, if they need that program, would go to Cherokee, Boston, or Sycamore. So keep that in mind when you look at the total numbers. Although the slide on your private placements and BOCES placements seems like a lot when you say 100, it's not. Not in the scheme of the total enrollment for the district or in the 787 total students that are classified. BOCES is considered just as restrictive as a private school, but days ago or years ago, BOCES classrooms was considered less restrictive because they were in your public schools. They asked for space, school districts that had space. This way, a student in a BOCES class could go to an integrated class for something or go to an assembly. But today, a lot of the public schools have taken those spaces back. BOCES tuition.
Sorry, I just have a quick question. I didn't realize you went up to the next slide already, but for the IEPs and 504s, you said there was 500 on the 504s and
440.
Okay, and 700 and something
Yes.
on the IEPs. Are any of those the same student? Can you have a 504? And, okay, so it's either you have one or the other.
Correct.
Okay.
And you can go from an IEP to a 504, or you can go from a 504 to an IEP.
Okay, but they're separate and each student.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. So on the BOCES, your related services is a menu. So you pay for every single service that's recommended on an IEP for a BOCES students versus a private school like DDI, Leeway, AHRC. All of their programs, all of their services are included in a tuition that's set by the state of New York. So that's a big difference, and private schools are considered more restrictive than BOCES, but as I said, things have changed that they're very similar today. 504 meetings, your total meetings. So we said 440 students have 504s. Not all of them require an annual review, but if you look at this, last year there were 101 initials for 504s. 303 annual reviews, and those are the transitions from elementary to middle, middle to high school. And then 42 parents or buildings requested to review those 504 plans.
So an annual can happen, an annual every year, or requested review can happen anytime during the school year. So the annuals usually are at the end of the year, but if a parent wants to open up or come to a meeting, discuss something that they feel they want to change on a plan, that can happen at any time during the school.
Your CSE meetings for last year was 1,211 students, or meetings, I should say, not students. Your initials were 127. What's involved with an initial evaluation is a psychological, educational, an observation in the classroom, social history, medical, sometimes speech evaluation, occupational therapy, PD, a functional behavior assessment. And these are all completed in-house with the exception of bilingual evaluations, which are sent out of district. Reevaluations have to take place every 3 years. It's up to the committee to determine which evaluations need to be redone. If you're going to reduce or eliminate a service, you must redo the evaluation to determine that that student no longer needs the services. This year we'll try to combine your reevaluations with your annual reviews if they came after January. So it'll be a combined meeting. We'll look at the reevaluations and we'll do the annual reviews. The annual reviews alone last year were 444. Requested reviews were 223. Sometimes they served as the annual review depending on the timing on the requested review. We had some reevaluations, annual reviews, that combination I'm talking about. We had 17 of them last year. High school students transitioning. This is where that transition coordinator is sitting in on all of those meetings, the 103 meetings as those children exit the district. CPSC to CSC. So you have children that get their services under 5 years of age, and then when they transition to the district at 5, they have 2 meetings, the CPSE meeting and then the CSE meeting.
I just have a question. Of the requested reviews, do we see more of the parents requesting them or the buildings? And if it's, and reasoning wise is, I know we've all heard a fair amount of feedback at times where parents aren't feeling like 504s or IEPs are being met appropriately. So I'm wondering, of that 223, is the majority coming from parents, and what can we do better there?
I didn't dig that deep to tell you. I know since I've been here in the last 2 months, it's pretty equal. Where, you know, again, sometimes you're doing a meeting in February for September. And that child will change. And the staff will say, that goal's not appropriate anymore. I want to change it. And the parent will say the same thing. I got one on a 504. The student was getting some resource room every other day for support at the middle school level. Parent just approved it last year at the end of the year. The student's not utilizing it. He wants out. He wants to take something else, so the parent requested that it be removed. Those are
It's really a combination.
Thank you.
Preschools, your initials were 83 last year, annuals 97, requested reviews another 63. Remember, these are little ones, so sometimes they get their regular CPSE evaluations, psychological, educational, but nobody did a speech or nobody did an OT or a PT, so those might be the reasons they come back for more meetings. You have 53 students in the center-based program right now, and 158 receiving related services. The 504s and IEPs combined, I wanted you to see just the sheer magnitude of students getting any kind of accommodations, modifications. And again, keep in mind that you've got Sycamore, Boston, and Cherokee that have students from other buildings in their buildings because of the programs that they offer. But just look at the high school alone. 26% of the students at the high school have some sort of 504 or IEP. Next steps. All the referrals that come to the special ed office are being reviewed by myself. I will call the building for more information. I'll call the parent and see what are their concerns, and then I'll put through the evaluation. All the initial referrals are being chaired by myself. We will encourage greater participation at our CSE meetings by students. Had that student been at the meeting for that 504 for resource room, they might have said, Ma, I don't need resource room, I want it. But we want to encourage students at the age of 14 or above to really attend their CSE meetings. Aligning the professional development with what the staff needs. Continue to support the district's investment in tools and provide data and support. The iReady and the AIMS have been so important. As I get the referrals from the buildings, I'm asking for that data because it shows where that child is in compared to the general ed child to see if there's really something going on there. Continue to collaborate with special ed and gen ed because that's our goal, is to see our children in general education and doing general ed curriculum. Explore ways to balance in-house capacity such as assistive technology support, and continue to support our students in the least restrictive environment. Professional development. Not there?
All right, so we'll just tell you really quick. So last year we created a focus group at the elementary level. So we got together special education teachers, some support staff such as psychologists, BCBAs at each of Boston, Sycamore, and Cherokee. That focus group really zoned in on some of the difficulties that the staff is seeing within their programs. So from that, we are targeting professional development for the elementary teachers. So some of that professional development is going to be in behavioral interventions, crisis level behaviors, special education programs and descriptions, and response to intervention, with a focus on reading, dyslexia, data review, and goal writing. We also did a large push in training teacher assistants and teacher aides this school year, so we are spending some more time or finding more time within the day to be able to train them not only with our staff with the coordinators and the chairs, but also giving them time with their classroom teachers when the students aren't there, so that they can kind of work with them to be able to provide students what they need. This year, we will also be adding a secondary focus group. So we'll have representatives from the middle schools and the high school to talk about what their concerns are and how we can help support them as well.
Great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Now we have Ms. Johnny Kohler for our guidance presentation.
How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be able to share some information on a very exciting new program that we have, a platform that we are launching this year for our students. So I'll be taking you through some information on the School Links platform for our students. So right now, I do want to mention that in the past, we have used what's been known as Naviance as a subscription. We recognize that Naviance at the time was cutting edge. It was the only platform in the game for our students to combine career searches, and college applications. We have used them for a very long time and appreciate all they've done for our students. However, more has come out. There have been some updates and some new features that are available that we really do like about School Links, so we're looking forward to those things. Building upon all the things that we enjoyed in Naviance, but updating it and then providing our students that much more, as well as our families, and also doing it for a savings to the district. This platform is less expensive than Naviance. I like to start right on the high note with that one there. So let's talk about what our students can do and what we can expect to see over the next year and then possibly next year in terms of a rollout. We have with this platform career activities for our students. This year we plan on starting the rollout with our 10th graders in December, introducing them to the platform. They will be the first ones to really get their hands wet with it, do the dive in with it. And we'll be starting with our career interest inventory lessons. Guidance counselors will be pushing into ELA classes as they have in the past, but utilizing this new platform with our students. The career search feature is very state-of-the-art in School Links. We're very excited about it. Kicks off the career planning scope and sequence for our students through the platform, which includes goal setting, self-assessment tools, resume building, and connections to course planning that we will be implementing in the future. The career interest inventory is very updated for our students. Where last year and years before when we've done Naviance lessons, it has been lengthy, very wordy, and then the results were not necessarily engaging for our students. And when the counseling team and I were reviewing it, kind of saying, how did it go? Or what's the feedback we're getting from the kids? It really wasn't the most positive of experiences for them. So that's why we have one of the main features with this that we liked is that this is meeting students where they are. The platform is mobile friendly. It is user friendly for students. It is engaging in manners that they are using in social media for themselves, such as swipeable surveys and quizzes, as opposed to lengthy reading and written response surveys, while still using data to provide meaningful results for students. So we're hoping that it will feel sometimes like a game to encourage students to want to use the platform, to get back in, to say, oh, I got this one, what'd you get? And hopefully getting that positive buzz and wanting them to continue to go that much deeper into the platform. So where we are going with this is then the career pathway options for students. We're connecting students with data that is real life, up to date, and constantly monitored by School Links. This is a feature that we are very interested in because we are connecting with data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So students are seeing in real time what in-demand jobs are, what training programs are available to them, and this is also something that we are connecting with employers, outside networks, and it is vetted by School Links compliance team to make sure that everything our students are seeing is appropriate as well as applicable.
You had said that you're going to roll it out with the 10th graders next year. Will the 11th and 12th graders also use that?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're getting there. Don't you worry.
All right.
I have a quick question
Sure.
on, so the student gets to see the opportunities from the careers. what about vice versa? What did they see from the student data? Like, do they get to see any information about the student?
No. No, only, so similar with the Naviance platform, there is a career, a college application piece, but that's only when the students sign the FERPA waiver to submit their applications. Only if the student physically submits something will the colleges see it, but that's the only feature that has that. So, and it's exactly the same with the Common App that Naviance had.
Thank you.
And that, you just mentioned the FERPA, so that's going to be told to the parents. The parents are involved in that? Is there?
Through the junior conference.
I'm sorry.
Through the junior conference, every college application, the students have to basically say that they're giving the school permission to release their information to the colleges, and that is part of every single college application that students will sign off on.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we talk about this, I'm a little concerned about utilizing these programs more than the human personal aspect.
Sure.
Okay. Having said that, even to the degree, are these guidance counselors and these people, are they promoting, what's the word I'm looking for, a relationship in colleges? And do they meet with these kids and really talk with them and know these kids to kind of guide them versus putting them on something here and say, guide yourself? Because there has to be some sort of personal aspect to
Absolutely. Yeah, so definitely there's a lot of those features that, in terms of the college application piece that I'm going to get to, I believe, in the next slide. So if you're okay with that, yep, here we go. College exploration. So our plan and rollout is that our juniors will be seeing this platform in the junior conference as well as the parents that attend the junior conference. One of the features that I absolutely love about School Links is that if parents would like, they have their own unique login to the platform that can connect to their child's platform. So there can be some communication in terms of what are the features that my child is enjoying. So but then also the counselor gets all of that information as well, so that when they're meeting with the students, they can go into the system, access it, and have a targeted conversation about, I see that you completed this survey. It's saying that these are things that, you could be a good fit for. Have you reviewed that? How does that sound to you? Have you talked to your parents about it? What types of conversations have you had with colleges? Have you so it's a springboard to the conversation and the relationship.
I want to clarify my concern. Okay. And that's, as I said, and this question you can answer. From what I understand, do the kids going into 9th grade have the same guidance counselor for
Yes.
10th? Okay. So there's a dynamic there. Are these people also reading and also guiding them, forget about this, but knowing the kid, okay, and guiding them, not necessarily to college, but let's say to be a welder or
Sure.
to be, programs within BOCES, all these avenues, instead of just mom and dad going on there. I feel like everything, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying across the board with a lot of different things. Parents have to go on here, or the kids have to go on here, and the kids have to do that. How about just a little, do you have that where there's the dynamic, the
Definitely.
personal relationship, and again, what are the guidance counselors, are they developing relationships amongst colleges, do you know what I mean? That
Yes.
it's not just this.
Yes, yeah, very true. So we start every September. The counselors start the process of getting to know their new entrants and their new students. So in 9th grade, they have new entrant meetings to introduce them to the 9th graders, get to know them, get them to feel comfortable in the space. Then, if students are struggling academically, they will check in with those students every 5 weeks with the progress report and report cards. If students are doing well and don't need that check-in, they will see them by January to do scheduling for next year, to talk about their course progress for the year, review the grades that they've had, talk about courses for the following year, and then possible planning in terms of what's the next steps. And then 10th... Yes, exactly. So that's where we talk about interest, to make sure that the course relationship is meeting what the student is interested in. So have they thought about college? Have they thought about career? Have they thought about trade? And how are we using the course catalog and the wide variety of electives that we have to make sure that the students yes, are taking those courses that will best serve them, but also meet their interests. Because we can sit there and say, oh, we want that this could be a great course for you. If the student is not interested and engaged, we know that that's not going to be a successful pairing. So it's really building that relationship with the student to get to know them as a unique individual, while also matching them with what we can offer, but also what we know is available to them in the future. One feature that I really do like about School Links, as I see the growth, is that not only are we talking about 2-year and 4-year college information, School Links provides trade information for students as well. Trade schools and different also military opportunities that are available to students is all available through the School Links platform, and that is an update and something that we're very excited to be able to cast a wider net to meet the needs of a wide range of students. And again, this is something that we'll be rolling out to our juniors in March with the junior conference meetings. So one thing that we talk about when we talk about, sorry.
I'm sorry, can I just, so the seniors this year will still use Naviance?
The seniors are using Naviance for their college applications because they had their junior conferences last year when all we had was Naviance. So we made the decision where they're going to close out the college application season with Naviance. However, we are opening it up once the college application season closes, where we will be allowing students in the senior class to sign on and utilize Naviance for the career search features, the resume builders, the scholarship searches that are available. So that is something that ConnectQuad has committed to the senior class, because another feature that I think I failed to mention previously, that was in, I think, the first slide, is that a beautiful thing that School Links provides at no additional cost is that once a student is registered as a ConnectQuad user and then graduates, they are gifted a lifetime membership to the platform. So should they ever need career search, resume support or assistance, connecting with labor statistics or graduate school information, it is available to them at their fingertips through their School Links platform. But then when they are preparing to graduate, we will be transitioning them from their CCSD email account to a private email account so that, again, they maintain that lifelong access.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you.
Sure.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it possible, even if the current seniors are utilizing Naviance, that they can get logged into this School Links like at the same time, so they would have that access as alumni to all of this updated job?
They'll be getting that information probably within the new year.
Saying the current seniors.
So the current seniors, yes, will be within the new year.
Okay.
Yes, we just don't want, because there is a college application feature on this, we don't want to muddy the water and have any seniors think they should be applying there when we'll be rolling out the college application feature with the 2027 graduating class. So we asked about relationships with colleges. One thing that we do at ConnectQuad is we have college representatives come in to meet with students and chat with counselors. So we do build our relationships that way. Counselors also do attend work sessions at colleges when they have informational sessions in the area. But what's nice here is that the colleges and universities see that they can view our calendar. So at their ease, create appointments to come in, meet with our students, and register. What's nice here is that we do promote this. We will continue to promote this. It goes on all the grade level 11th and 12th grade Google Classrooms, as well as all social media outlets for the district. I put together a promotional flyer every single week of who is coming to ConnectQuad and how can kids sign up to access those college visits. The additional piece with this is that when the schools are signing up through School Links, students will get notified that if they like a school or indicate they are interested in a school, they will receive notification that they are coming and have an option to sign on in platform for a meeting with them in ConnectQuad High School. So that is something that is beneficial. Also, parents, should they choose to sign on with the account, they will also get that information. So the idea is like, hey, we were talking about that school, rep's coming, don't forget, go down third period today. So there is that two-way communication for parents. And this is something that we will be starting full push next fall with our students. We are exploring to see if this feature is applicable in the spring, but because we do have our Naviance platform up and running, we're just looking at the transition for that, but it will definitely be in full swing for our students and families next fall.
So again, I love this. I think it's fabulous. My concern is that the more we do this, the more personal interaction we lose. Leaving, just bear with me, leaving the onus up to the kid and or the parent, where by, let's say, 11th grade, I believe a counselor should really know every kid that they have, okay, in that dynamic to say, this might be a good fit for you, this college, this specific college. Know them to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only concern, okay, because I think what we're missing a lot of time is that personal interaction, and I think guidance is so important. My dad was head of guidance, so I get what this is. That's why I believe it's really important, okay?
Thank
the
you.
Personal avenue.
Yes, thank you. So right now, in terms of course planning and course guidance, the counselors are the stop all, end all, be all in terms of when they meet with the students. What are you taking next year? We give them a piece of paper and they circle what they'd like, they walk out with it, and the families will have the opportunity to go on at some point and view on the information on Parent Portal to verify course requests. That is the process as it stands right now. One thing that we will be rolling out possibly, hopefully next year, is there is a course planning feature in Schoollinks where it will have the information for ConnectQuat's unique course offerings and how that can connect to career pathways, college majors, and help guide students through that course process. So that counselors are meeting with them. It's not only the counselor's word saying, hey, this would be a really great option for you. Now it gives the counselor some data to back them up on that choice. So if a student is saying, well, I think I might really like forensics, but I don't want to take chemistry, now we have a platform to say, well, if you want to study chemistry or forensics, we have this. Look at this data. This is showing our courses that are available that will help prepare you for that course offering. So again, giving that counselor a little bit more of a leg to stand on, so it's not just their knowledge and background that we're going off of. We're giving kids proof in the pudding to kind of help move that forward. So again, this is something that we will be rolling out. Hopefully, our plan is for next year to roll that out.
You say next year, are you saying 2026? Like you're going to
26, 27 school year.
Okay, so are you going to use this though when the kids come to make their schedules for that 26-27 school year? Or
So during
not
the
until?
27 school year, because what we're doing right now is we're working with Schoollinks to upload all of the information for our course catalog, making sure that we're verifying everything. So looking to do things correctly and completely, being that we do start scheduling pretty soon, believe it or not. January is around the corner. I'm not rushing it. It's okay. The holidays are going to be crazy and we're going to enjoy them. But we're going to take this full year with Schoollinks to not but train on these platforms so that when we're meeting with students and families, we are fully versed to be able to support them in their use of the platform as well.
I have a question. Yeah. So when the students are using this course planner option, will they have a carte blanche to all the classes that ConnectQuat offers, or do they get something that's personalized more to them and what they should be taking and options that are available to them?
So those are the features that we're actually working with Schoollinks to train on and make sure that we are comfortable with. There's schools of thoughts both ways. We're working very closely with Ms. Poppy's office on these things, as well as Liz Weiss in IT, to make sure that the information is streamlined but also beneficial to the counseling relationship. So that's why we're also taking the time to make sure that we roll this out next year so that we know if it will be carte blanche, if it will be tailored. There will definitely be sequencing options for students. So if they're in English 10, it will automatically default them to the next options for that following year. But the question that I have that we're working through with the program is, let's say a student is in an AP class. Can they automatically put themselves in a lower level class, or will it maintain the level that the student is at? And then engage in conversation. So that's what we're working through.
And vice versa.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. We always love the students to level up. We encourage those things with appropriate conversation with the directors. So we want to make sure that those pathways remain open for up. My concern would just be I would hate to see a student go in, level down without a conversation, without anything where the family is notified, the directors are notified, the counselors having meaningful conversations to make sure we understand why those changes are happening. So those are the pieces that we're working out, which is why, again, we're going to choose to roll that out next year. So the other piece here is the graduation and academic success. So really what we're looking for is step-by-step support for students, families, counselors to make sure that this is seamlessly personalizing the experience for our students. They feel seen, they feel heard, they feel like they're able to have those targeted conversations with their counselors, and they're prepared for the college and career piece of their high school journey. Oh, and the one thing that I do want to mention about this is one thing that I'm geeking out about a little bit, I'm not going to lie, is that School Links is actually working with us in New York State as the Portrait of a Graduate is unfolding, so that this will have features for counselors to be used as a tool to make sure that the Portrait of a Graduate, as it applies to ConnectQuat, they are adequately getting the information they need to track all of their students. So that's something that's very up and coming. And as New York State continues to provide more information and ConnectQuat continues to develop our plans, School Links will be there as a partner to help make sure that we're following all of that seamlessly for our students.
Thank you. And I just have one more question, comment, I guess. I don't know if this is an available option with this new platform, but it would be kind of cool if the kids could set up their scholarship application on here, like all the clubs that they go into, all the
Like uploading the ConnectQuat, like the unique ConnectQuat application?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a great idea. I'll see if they can do that, if we can upload that in the
I mean,
system.
that would, if they could just click, and, print out 20 copies, that would.
Yeah, I know that right now, so Ms. Necken is taking over the scholarship responsibilities this year, and I know that the form that we have used in the past, when it's uploaded to the website, it is an editable document for students, so they should be able, even from the platform as it is right now, be able to complete it once and print however many copies they need. But if there's a way to merge our local scholarship application with this, that's a great option. I'll definitely ask about that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much for all the help.
Thank
the
you.
work you've done.
And thank you for the opportunity. We're really excited about this. Thank you.
Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the overtime reports from July 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2025, the treasurer report for August 2025, and the claim auditor's report?
Motion.
Second. Does anybody have any questions on any of those?
Yeah, I just. My only question is, we recently asked for some documentation on overtime. I am curious, who is overseeing it when overtime is approved? Because we have a lot of overtime, and the amount of these monies, it's accumulating. So I want to know who's overseeing that and approving that someone can have that overtime.
Are you talking about a specific department or just in general?
In general.
So for the most part, in general, it would be the director of a department, okay, or it would be the administrator of the building principal, who would be overseeing that. So it is, I'll say, departmentalized or building, on a building level, that's who's overseeing the overtime.
So when you guys see these overtime reports and you see, one department seems to be having a lot of overtime, does someone speak to the department head or the director or something like that to tell them, hey, highlight, there's a lot of overtime here, we need to cut back?
Yes, I would be one of those to do that. Yep, and I do that.
So, for the past two meetings, I've requested specifically the overtime report specific to who's getting it for transportation as well as custodial. To date, still haven't gotten it. Okay. I also requested get it. No, I didn't. I didn't get the personal. I wanted to know who it was, whether it was specific to just a handful of people. Okay. Also, I requested the wheel, to understand the wheel, because when I was granted, a long time ago, many moons ago, but when I was on the board, we got rid of the wheel because with the wheel, it was subject to friends of people controlling the wheel, getting all of the overtime. So, again, that was another concern of mine. So I'm now officially putting in yet another request. I want to know who exactly, if it's systematically the same people getting the overtime, okay? And who in turn are running the wheels, and which departments are utilizing the wheel. Custodial as well as transportation. You understand?
I'm only aware of a wheel for transportation. I cannot speak for the custodial or grounds department.
Okay, so I'm requesting that because we just asked and you said you're essentially checking out the, right, the overtime?
Oh, yeah. So I wasn't here this week, Sarah, but this was the folder that I believe you all received. I only received it this
Okay,
week.
just so you know, I very specifically requested names. Are you saying they're in there? Because I didn't get it.
There are names on
No,
here.
it was 100% given to us last week in exec.
I'm not saying it wasn't. What I'm saying is I got the folder. It wasn't in my folder.
Oh, okay.
Could have been an oversight, could have been, it's fine. And again, back to the wheel. Can we figure out the wheel and figure out how that's going on?
Yes.
So I actually had a similar question about the overtime report. I'm obviously not going to not approve the overtime that's been done, but if we can more closely monitor how the departments are utilizing it. Can I get all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't see Orba, Scepter, or PTA Council. I will now open the floor for the first open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1.
Is it standard practice to allow admin, namely an assistant principal, to goad students and try to provoke parents? What kind of professional development do you have for APs? You might want to bring in a consultant like the Connecticut legend and the original GOAT, retired AP from when I was in high school, Brodsky, to train APs on de-escalation and admin communication skills. Any admin that makes statements to parents like, you are harassing me, you are bullying me, you are intimidating me, and I am going to take legal action, after said admin intentionally bullied a child or students, should be removed and retrained immediately. It should always be about making sure the students are okay, not about who AP likes or dislikes. You hold no one accountable, and it shows in how this individual behaves. I am here to tell you this is not going to happen again. I am also here to let you know that you may want to sweep things under the rug, but that is also not going to happen again. This Board of Ed talks about bullying and mental health, yet it's just Board of Ed hot air because it starts at the building level admin, and the Board of Ed has the ability to direct the super to hold these adult bullies accountable, but the Board of Ed does not. Next, you are approving 20-plus days to be returned to another admin. From 2023, over 2.5 years later, upwards of $20,000 in time. Because who are they related to? Board of Ed members and others are all friends, whatever this may be. This is truly cronyism, nepotism, and as well as corruption at its worst. Our taxes are going up for you to line friends' pockets with favors, and this was a done deal in 3/2023. How are you doing this with a backdoor deal once again and rewriting history for only one specific worker? Yet some Board of Ed members won't approve things financially that are solely to help students. That is a fact. That $20,000 plus money should have been used along with bond funds that were left over and reallocated to make a gender-neutral locker room. I told the Board of Ed that last year in public and the last year prior to that, the year prior. That it was unnecessary, I was told, to speak about this in public because boys playing girls sports wasn't happening as per Melissa and April. It is happening now here. Now what? That's why you have to listen to people and stop acting reactively and start acting proactively. Learning that at Connecticut you have biological males being permitted to use girls' locker rooms is an issue. It raises serious concerns about students' privacy, comfort, and safety, especially given that students as young as 14 or 15 use these facilities. No student, regardless of gender identity, should ever be placed in a situation where they are involuntarily exposed to another student's body in a locker room or shower. You also told me last year that we couldn't put an aide in the locker room when we had a hazing and bullying issue. But now that is what you guys are doing, stating that last year it could cause an allegation. Now what? It doesn't cause allegations?
Thank you. Number 2. You just have to press the button on the bottom. Yep.
I have to say, I would have had mercy on you. I would have let you go first and let you go home. This kid has been here for over 2 hours.
He's part of the board.
I understand, we've had that too, but he's here for 2 hours. Okay, so no in particular order here. Our rankings are tanking. Sent you an email about that, no response. Now we understand that we have biological boys using the girls' locker room. That's awesome. Good stuff. No board goals or vision. Hence, maybe that's why our rankings are tanking. 100K was allocated when I was on the board. The reason for this allocation was to promote incentives for teachers, for staff to think outside of the box. It was part of promoting a bigger picture of education and allowing our teachers and admin to have a voice and be creative. Gone. What else we got here? You know, the board, our president apologizes to somebody who apparently it's okay to have KKK references to, you know, most of the people in our community who mourned the death of Charlie Kirk. No email responses, no accountability, not surprised. We have a conversation here, and I hear a few of you speaking about, oh, bullying needs to stop. I see what happens to her, so I won't let it fall on deaf ears, Melissa. Now we have an MOA of $20,000. Almost 3 years later, would we wait for boards to change to get the outcome you were looking for? I sat on this board for 9 years, and there were plenty of people that came up and asked for money or asked for different things. We took a hard pass. You know why? Because it sets a bad precedent. Now, anybody in Connecticut District, you want to take some days off? Go right ahead. Because this board is very generous with our gift of taxpayer money. There is no accountability. And then the other thing is, too, as far as the academy, yeah, I heard you guys speak about the academy. I don't know where you are. That was set under the last administration, the last Board of Education. I, once in a while, get a chance to look at these board meetings. What innovative educational platforms have you pushed forward? You have a NEST program. I brought it up a couple of times, fell on deaf ears. There are certain things that work. I see other districts that are evolving and moving outside, and nothing is happening here. I'm paying too much money in taxes, and I will go out, you know, and advocate for a no budget, vote down the budget, because the rankings are taking, no accountability, no board goals, and, you know, no offense to the superintendent, but we extended a contract on no board goals, no vision, no mission. How did you guys provide that? I know we didn't do that when we had Linda Adams first time on the board. There was benchmarks she had to meet, or she was not getting our contract. But, well, whatever. Keep on giving out gift of funds here.
Thank you so much. Number 3. 4? Okay.
I want to set the record straight because this has been about 477 times that someone has intimated that a board member is related to any administrator. Set it straight. I am related to absolutely no administration in the Connecticut School District. I want to say that again. I'm related to no one. Also, there's some misrepresentation going on here, okay? And maybe some facts have to be gotten straight before accusations are tossed around. But again, related to no administration here.
Thank you. Can I have, now, should I read the policies one by one and do motion and second for each and every single one?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay, I knew you wanted to pull some, but can I have a motion and a second to approve policy 0100, equal opportunity and non-discrimination, policy 0100, sexual harassment, policy 0100-.2, sexual harassment in the workplace, policy 0100.2-E, sexual harassment in the workplace exhibit, policy 0111, sexual harassment grievances under Title IX, sexual harassment policy 0111-E, sexual harassment grievances under Title IX exhibit, policy 0115, student harassment and bullying prevention and intervention, and policy 5695, second reading adoption.
Motion.
Melissa stepped out, so I'll second.
Does anybody have any questions on any of those policies?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm abstaining.
From all?
Yeah, from all.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
You know what, I think I'm going to abstain as well.
These are the Title IX that are passed down by our president that he changed.
Yeah, we approved the first reading at the last meeting. This is the second reading from the last meeting.
I have them available if anybody needs to see them, but these are the ones that you guys wanted, that they discussed last year.
I'm not, and I'm abstaining. I'll explain.
No, Jackie, I'm saying that last year, these are the ones that you
Is
wanted.
there a reason why you're singling me out?
Because you were on the policy committee with me, so I just wanted to make sure you knew that these are the policies that.
It's highly
were there.
unfair that we're sitting here and I've made my decision and you're
No, that's
trying to
fine.
convince me.
There are
So-
extenuating
I'm
circumstances.
abstaining.
Okay, Ms. Parisi and Ms. DiLorenzo abstain. I am a yes.
I'm a yes. We have to wait for the board.
Yes, I will wait for Ms. Torgrosa. We are voting on the second reading for the policies. I just need your vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we had 2 abstentions and 2 yeses.
Okay, I missed that part.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So motion passes. Can I have a motion and a second? To waive the first reading and approve the second reading for immediate we just did that. Nope. Waive the first reading and approve the second reading for immediate adoption of policy 5695, student and personal electronic devices.
Motion.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, I just would like to explain to the public, though, that we originally had put in that the students were able to keep their phones in the backpack. We were more or less slapped on our hand from the state that we were not allowed to put the backpack word inside the policy, and the phones do have to be in the lockers, not the backpacks.
I want to say something.
Sure.
So I stated this before. I think something should be done as far as if a kid needs his phone or whatever, there should be some sort of phone they can utilize. We used to have a bank of pay phones where we didn't have to go and cry and or have issues in front of administrators because they're utilizing the statement of they can come to my office, they could do lovely. Kids don't want to do that. So that's my issue. Until we figure that out, I'm not a part of this. My answer is no.
Okay, so your vote is no, Ms. Parisi?
Yeah.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
You know, on account that I'm really, really tired of the state trying to micromanage us, no.
Okay. Mr. Agrosa?
Yes, but can we get follow-up on Sarah's request? Because I know we all talked about it at that meeting, and has there been any attempt for an alternate place?
Also, I'm sorry, also, I want to preface, kids should not be using their phones in class. Period. Okay. That's not my issue. I think I clarified my issue. That's it.
I'm a yes.
And I am a yes. Motion carries. Can I please have a motion and a second to approve the second reading for immediate recession of the following Board of Education policies? Policy 0110-E.1, sexual harassment complaint form. Policy 011-E.2, sexual harassment complaint form. Policy 0110-R, sexual harassment regulation. Policy 0110.1, sexual harassment of students. Policy 0110.1-R, student sexual harassment regulation. And policy 0110.2/R, employment sexual harassment regulation.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on those?
I'm abstaining on this one as well. It's the same
Yeah,
issue.
just if anybody
These are the
has
ones
any
that we're
questions right
abolishing,
now.
we're getting rid of.
Okay, yep, we're getting rid of these, so you're.
Oh, wait, okay, so I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I'm reading the wrong one. Okay.
That's okay.
So these are the ones we're pulling?
Yes, we're
getting rid of-
abolishing
Okay,
these
sorry,
policies.
sorry. My mistake.
So, Ms. Parisi?
Yep.
Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Ms. Tergrosa?
Yes.
Ms. Sinatelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve the instructional and non-instructional personnel items as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I call for a motion and a second to approve items 2 through 20 of the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Does anybody have any questions? I have a question. Number 13, Mr. Hauser, can you explain a little bit more about the tax levy to the community?
I think it moved to 14.
No, it
might
should
have,
be still 13, right?
because we added something.
No, the new one should be 20, right? What we added?
I think it's up, so it might have moved to 14.
I see.
But on the printed version.
Yeah.
No, it's, I didn't bring it up. I forgot.
Number 14, the tax levy.
Okay, so this is actually good news. Back in May, when we made our final budget presentation for the current school year, and the voters in the community came out and voted in favor of the budget, we had estimated a tax levy increase of 1.34% back in May. Town of Islip recently announced their new assessment roll for the Connecticut School District, and the assessment, the total assessment went up a little over $2 million. So when the assessment goes up, the tax levy gets spread over, I'll say, more of an assessment base. So that actually caused the tax rate to go from 1.34 down to 1.02. All right. What does that mean for, I'll say, a typical homeowner? Well, if you use a $10,000 assessed value, all right, I'm just going to use that as an example here. The projected school tax was going to be about $2,114. The actual school tax should come in around $2,107, which is a savings of approximately $7, all right? That's just based on the assessed value going up. So that is the good news. I don't have any bad news.
Nope.
So.
Thank you. I appreciate your explanation. Does anybody have any other questions on any of the other consent agenda items?
Yeah, were you on this, Sarah?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Sure.
Go. Yeah.
All right, I have a question, a few of them. I'll ask one, and then if Sarah wants to go. Just a little more information on number, I think it moved to number 6, the Family and Community Leaders of America Charter. What can you tell us about? I mean, I was looking up my own information, but what can you tell us about it? And of course, as always, parents. What's number 6? I went to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, talk a little bit more about that. And of course, my concern too is, as always, parents knowing and being a part of that, and you know, giving their permission for it. So, what can you tell us about that as a community?
Well, I had a robust description of it. Let's see.
Oh, it's in your update.
Yes,
It was, and Yeah, and I think I put it in your yellow folder. Let me see if I can give something that's
It was
succinct.
in his superintendent's update to
Right,
us, but it's good for the community to know. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the mission. It's called the Family Career and Community Leaders of America Club. Its mission is to promote personal growth, leadership development through family consumer sciences education, focusing on the multiple roles of family member, wage earner, and community leader members. Members develop skills for life through character development, creative and critical thinking, interpersonal communication, practical knowledge, and career preparation. Some of the benefits provide family, career, and community connections of 5 main areas: human services, hospitality and tourism, education and training, visual arts and design, real-world skills. Chapters can participate in competitive events, and it serves as an organization tantamount to an honor society for students in the family and consumer science fields.
Thank you. Did you want to?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to double check this. Facilities used by organizations. We just did that. Yes, that falls under this purview where I can ask a question? Yep. Okay. So I noticed we had a whole bunch of people that we approved, okay, to be able to utilize this. I know that there are
Number
groups,
12.
we used to be able to do this. There were seniors playing volleyball, things of that nature. Volleyball, things of, in the gymnasium, they would sign up and they would be allowed to do that. For a little while they stopped it. I know they brought it back. Is this only open, people utilizing the facilities, is it only open to specific groups or can the residents put in to utilize? So it's opened up again? Because as I said, it's
Well, for this particular item here, these are organizations, all right, that are request to use school facilities, and they have to meet certain criteria. They have to be an IRS 5013C organization. They've got to provide insurance. They have to provide a roster of who's participating, so we can see if it's predominantly.
So the
Connecticut
answer
residents.
is no.
But I don't know how. I'll say a not-for-profit, an organization that's not a not-for-profit, like just a local group of seniors. I honestly don't know how they would.
Can we
make a
find that
request.
out? Because
Sure.
I know that
Yep.
they were allowed to for years. And I'm not just saying seniors. There used to be senior citizen groups, like Ockers, for instance, used to have a recreation area that they would go, but now it's half and half. Part of it is Section 8, so it's not utilized anymore in that capacity. When they were rebuilding Ockers, that senior center, up in that, when it was just a senior center, senior housing, I remember they utilized Prem at the time to have meetings and do different things. I kind of feel like it should be open to people that are doing that. There were parent groups that wanted to play, softball and at the time volleyball. I want to know how we go about letting them do this.
So I do know that there is a men's basketball league comprised of alumni and parents that still go to OBMS. My husband participated in it, and I ran into a kid last year coming out of a meeting
That's
who
great.
was going to it. So they are utilizing OBMS for this basketball. It's once a week, I believe, on Tuesday. And but I don't know how they became, part of this and able to do it, but we are doing it.
My concern is that they're not just being allowed to do that because they have one anal person on there that's filled out 7,062 forms to allow them to do it. Do you know what I'm saying?
not sure, but it has been ongoing for many, many years. The same group.
Right, but do you know what I mean? I want to figure out how we can do this. I think that's great, and that kind of sets a precedent, which is wonderful. But I want to see how we can open it up.
I'll find out.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I had a few other questions, and this might be something for, I can't remember who, maybe Miss Allen, but the number changed. I have 12 on here, but it's the ES BOCES Multi-Service Extreme Switch Refresh.
Number 13 now.
13, thank you. What is that?
The multi-year service agreement with
Yeah,
ES BOCES.
Yeah, just an explanation of that.
Sure, so this is an IT item. This is an effort to strategize switch replacements in all of our schools over the course of the next 3 years. This project has already started. Actually, it started at the high school last year, and we are continuing the work, but it's expensive work, and in order to really engage it in a financially appropriate and responsible way, we're seeking to enter into this multi-year agreement with BOCES for this switch project. Switches connect us to the internet. They connect us to that access point for all of our devices and all of our infrastructure. They do have a shelf life of approximately 10 years, and we are really at the point of failure with our existing switch infrastructure. So we have strategically started that replacement cycle, but again, this is our financially responsible way of essentially strategizing the plan for implementation through BOCES.
Sure, so this is a new meeting for me again. I have a question about pupil enrollment. Do I wait, or can I ask that now?
If it's not one of the consent agenda
Gotcha,
items.
so I have to wait.
Yes. We can add that to board discussions.
Okay, I had a few other questions. The number 17, it is now, the consultant service agreement, South Shore Psychological Care. Just more information on that, because I think that one was a decent amount, and I wanted to just...
Miss O'Hara has the answer to that.
Okay, so we have a psychologist in one of our buildings who's going for her doctorate, and she needs to be supervised by a licensed psychologist. She works with this company, so for $1, they're willing to supervise her.
My favorite.
I know that. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. That was obviously not the one that was more money. It's very late. I'm very tired.
Were you the seventh?
next one that I had a question about with money? Number 19, the consultant service agreement, Savas. Was this something that I feel like we split it last time? Did we split this once before? Is it being split again? Because it's not $1. It's a lot more than that. So just more info on that too, please.
So I believe there are 2 SAVIS contracts on the consent agenda. This is in reference to SAVIS, the Envision Math Consultant Services Agreement, correct? So this represents the third year of a 3-year commitment to professional development for our new elementary mathematics program. During the first year, you're absolutely correct. We used the COVID relief grants in order to make this purchase. Last year, we did not. The purchase was funded through the general fund, through the curriculum and instruction budget. And this year, the proposal is the same. The cost, however, is actually reduced from where it was last year because our services are changing just a little bit. SAVIS is unable to provide us with the type of service that we have experienced for the last 2 years, where we had a continual staff member from SAVIS working into our 7 elementary schools. Currently, for this school year, if approved, this proposal ensures that we do have the same individual person, but they are working on a per diem basis in our buildings. So the cost is a little bit, believe it or not, lower to the district. But again, this wraps up that 3rd year of professional support for our elementary mathematics program.
Okay, thank you.
And that is overseen and supervised very closely by our director of mathematics. I would like to assure you of that.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
And I think my very last thing was I would like to, for a separate vote, I would like to pull number 8, the MOA leave days.
Okay. We're pulling number 8, the MOA leave days for employees, for a separate vote. So I'm going to call for another motion in a second. Can I have a motion in a second to approve items 2 through 7 and 9 through 20?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I please have a motion in a second to approve item number 8, MOA leave days for employee?
Motion. Second.
I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Parisi? Ms. DiLorenzo.
I'm extremely concerned about setting precedent. And, you know, we did just hear from, earlier, we had the audit. They talked about, you know, history of providing, you know, the whatever days are left and everything. So I am concerned about that. I'm concerned about what has gone on in the past, that we have people leave, come, and I don't want to set that precedent. So I am a no for this one.
Thank you. Ms. Torregrossa?
Yes.
Ms. Iatelli?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Motion passes. Discussion items, Dr. Centimore.
Thank you, Ms. Mallon. So what I'd like to do is talk a little bit tonight and highlight some of our partnerships and programs as it speaks to the bread and butter of our district, which of course is learning and teaching. First thing I'd like to highlight are college partnerships. Connect-Quad has expanded its dual enrollment opportunities. That's an opportunity where a student takes a course and could also take that course for college credit as well. So the district has been partnering with Suffolk Community College through a Beacon program, and now that partnership has expanded up to 42 credit offerings, which is a significant expansion from the previous year. That's just with Suffolk Community College. We also have an extensive partnership with Farmingdale State College with their UHS program with over 50 credit offerings, also a significant increase from the previous year. So thank you to our curriculum office, guidance, and the high school administration and the directors in these various areas for expanding these partnerships. We also have partnerships with Stony Brook University as well as LIU Post, and through the LIU Post is where we get to utilize the Animatized Virtual Dissection Table in one of those course offerings. Currently, Suffolk Community College has engaged with Connect-Quad. It's been one of the goals when I was first hired here that I've been really pushing for our district, and Suffolk Community has engaged with us. It's a little bit of a long-term goal, but we're pushing for it, and that's to provide our students with an opportunity to earn an associate's degree as they complete their high school education. So I appreciate the efforts of Suffolk Community College, Ms. Poppy, and our leadership team as we further push this endeavor, and it's something that we're all very committed to and we're very, very excited about. The district also has several STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics partnerships. A big one is with Brookhaven National Lab. There's a STEM summer prep for freshmen where they get to dip their toes into science research in partnership with the Brookhaven Lab. There's a SPARK program that stands for Student Partnerships for Advanced Research and Knowledge. Here we have high school students, 15 years or older. They work on scientific data analysis and proposal writing year-round to gain an understanding of the capabilities of facilities, including the National Synchrotron Light Source and the Center for Functional Nanomaterials. Science research teachers can also participate through this partnership. The high school research program is another opportunity through the Brookhaven National Lab. This is for students who are interested in pursuing STEM studies. This is a highly competitive 6-week program for students to collaborate with the lab with the lab's scientific staff on programs that support the Department of Energy's mission to ensure America's security and prosperity while addressing energy, environmental, and nuclear challenges. One of our seniors who we recently highlighted, Mohammed Omir Latif, who actually mentioned at the last meeting, as being a lead author on a research paper on epilepsy that was just published with Cornell University. He recently participated in this program. We also have had a partnership with Stony Brook University, where in the past we've had students work with medical professionals in the past on projects, including conducting cancer research. We have some internship programs with various departments throughout our district, including the IT department. In fact, high school junior Zaire Habib, who was recognized by the Junior Science and Humanities Symposium for his outstanding independent research project on the creation of an innovative medical chatbot. He recently participated in a summer internship with our IT department. We are going to work with our PR firm, Syntax, on getting more of this information out there, and in particular, nicely organized on our website as we move forward. And as I give my superintendent updates at future board meetings, and even within my videos as well, I'll look to highlight some of our programs and partnerships, because we do have a plethora, and we're always looking to expand them. You heard from many of our presentations today, and thank you to all who presented today in our various departments, whether it's special education, the mental health field, guidance, those partnerships and programs as well. Other news throughout the district. Thank you to the high school student government, staff and coaches. I'll certainly make sure Michael has a chance to speak in more detail about homecoming and all the other wonderful things. But I want to offer my thank you to everybody with that, as well as a safe Halloween with student government. It was really wonderful. Obviously, Halloween is Friday. Very excited for all the Halloween parades at our elementary schools. But I wouldn't be the typical dad if I didn't say to everybody, be safe, make good decisions, both during the school day and after and throughout the weekend, certainly. Congratulations to our marching band, flag, and kick line for an outstanding performance at last week's Newsday Marching Band Festival. The high school drama production of Romeo and Juliet was outstanding. Congratulations to the cast, crew, and directors. Have to give them a lot of credit for all that wonderful pronunciation of the Shakespeare. Really, really tremendous. This week, as we heard from Dr. Barsani, United We Stand for Drug-Free Week. Numerous educational activities occurring throughout our schools, a very important theme, obviously. We have our Science Honor Society students working with the local wetlands. I believe that occurred yesterday. Several of our varsity athletic teams made the playoffs and other postseason competitions. Congratulations and good luck to our student athletes and coaches. Our High School Honor Society induction is tomorrow. Our next board meeting is middle of November, so it'll be after Veterans Day. So obviously Veterans Day is a few weeks away. Thank you to all who have served in our nation's armed forces, including my dad. I also want to thank our schools who hold wonderful events and ceremonies to honor our veterans. As we quickly move into the holiday season, I know many of our school and community organizations are very involved with various clothing and food drives, including our own high school food pantry. I thank them as well as all who contribute to them. On November 15th, the PTSA will host a craft fair starting at 9 a.m. at the high school with lots of vendors and really neat stuff for the holiday season. And as always, thank you to all of our parental and community organizations, including ORBA, SEPTA, PTA, Athletic Boosters, Civics, and Rotary, for all that you do for our students, staff, and community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sanamore. Mr. Ibrahim, do you have anything for us?
I do.
Thank you.
Dr. C stole a couple of them, but I do have some. All right, so firstly, I'm the president of the National Honor Society, so tomorrow, National Honor Society induction, we have a record-breaking new member count. I believe the number was 116. I know it's bigger than 110, but I believe it was 116. So we are inducting a lot of new people into the Honor Society, which is great. Speaking of the Honor Society, October 19th, I believe it was, we did the Jones Beach Breast Cancer Walk. It was great. We had some National Honor Society members come to support, and we did the walk, and it went well. Everybody had a good time. It was a nice thing. I personally didn't do Safe Halloween this year. I have in years past, but from all my friends that did, they all said it went great. They had a good time. The kids were cute. It went well. It was a nice thing for the community. And then the last thing I have on here, I know I came in here a couple months ago before I was the Board of Ed rep to talk about a club I was trying to start, the engineering club, and it has started and it's gone very well. We had, I believe it was like 30-something unique people that have came and signed up for the club and have been interacting and coming to the meetings. It's been going great. So, oh, and also the boys varsity soccer team today had the I think it was like the quarterfinals for the playoffs against Brentwood. I don't know who won, who won?
Brentwood. They lost 4-2. I know. I'm always conflicted when we play Brentwood, but Brentwood won.
I also would like to say that Michael participated in an interview, and if you want to see the interview and the answer to all his questions, it's on our social media accounts, so everybody can go in and see a picture of Michael and all his beautiful answers.
Thank you, Michael. We have our Board of Ed committee reports. We have the Mental Health Advisory Committee. Ms. DiLorenzo?
Yes, we had our meeting, it's actually a few weeks ago, but it was after the last meeting. And of course, we discussed, the different events that we've done this year. Community Wellness Day, absolutely, said it many times, a huge success. And I believe a lot of what we discussed was actually spoken about by Dr. Pisani. The Random Acts of Kindness Week, which is coming up, the Wellness Days for the schools that will take place in May, the EASL theme for October, responsibility, and he discussed the importance of keeping the Mental Health Advisory Task Force and the Drug and Alcohol Task Force separate because it is, we'd probably be there for many hours, so, having those other committees branched off, we discussed the importance of doing that so we can really focus on everything. And just obtaining feedback after assemblies take place. I think it is important because we're doing them. We want to make sure that they are indeed successful, that we have people attending or even the ones that are for the students. What do they think? The feedback that we got about John Paul Gonzalez was from the kids was very, very good. I believe he's visiting, I think it's both middle schools on Thursday. I think it's both of them, right? And they loved him. They said, other people that have come, they've, fallen asleep. But this guy, he had them. He really caught their attention. They enjoyed having him there. That was really, everything that we covered in that meeting.
Thank you. Bullying Prevention Task Force, Ms. Parisi and Ms. DiLorenzo?
Okay. You had missed that one, but that's okay. I'll cover it. So for this one, we also talked about, which Dr. Pisani mentioned, the Student Ambassador Program, which of course I'm happy to hear parental involvement with that. The Suffolk County DA presentation coming up on hate crimes and bully prevention. There is also a Unity Council that meets 4 times a year to discuss different bias, which is great. I do have to, when I see these key terms in their bias, I think we have to be mindful to make sure we are not going the DEI route with that. So, while all of these councils, everything we do are great, oversight to make sure that we keep it focused and we keep the politics out of it. We did, I'm trying to think if we discussed, no, we didn't discuss that policy, but we also talked about the ConnectQuad influencers, which was also covered during their presentation. So a lot of it was spoken about already tonight.
Thank you. The Curriculum Committee, Ms. Torregrossa, Ms. Iannatelli?
I'm not normally on the committee. Thankfully, Marisol wasn't available, so I got to go. For anyone who doesn't know, New York State is implementing something called Portrait of a Graduate, which you probably heard us say like a bunch of times. And Mrs. Poppy does a wonderful job, but the state has not given us too much guidance yet, but she did give us as much of an overview as she could of what that's going to look like. We did also review a lot of the initiatives the curriculum committee was able to put into place the following year, so that was kind of how we started. But I would say for anybody interested, because unfortunately it doesn't sound like much of an update unless April has more, it was kind of like, we're waiting to hear from the state about like what's going to hit some of these benchmarks that are required within, and how are we going to, quantify those and not just make it so blanket, they want you to do this, so we are going to do exactly what it says. But you can just look on the state education department's website to look at least, not to bring up the wheel, but there is like a wheel that shows all the different components of what is going to be under that. And then April, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say the New York Inspires, we started last year as a group, and this is just the next step in the plan. The plan is to transform state. This plan reflects a major shift in how education is delivered, assessed, and supported across the state. The 6 main topics are academically prepared, creative innovator, critical thinker, effective communicator, global citizen, and, got to turn the page here, reflective and future focused. The job of the committee is to work on all those categories. Which courses do we already have in place that fall under these, and which ones do we need to make sure that every child is going to fulfill their graduation requirements? We also spoke about how the Board of Regents, they are not looking to do away with regencies. They are maybe going to look into making them optional, but they are not going to be gone. Like, I know we originally last year thought they were going to be, but they still will be in place.
Thank you. I will be at all further meetings, Melissa. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
It's one of my favorite curriculum committees. Health and Safety, Ms. Parisi and Ms. DiLorenzo.
I definitely can't give the update that Mr. Allen provides because he's just got these buildings in his head. I don't know how he keeps all that information, keeps track of it, but I'm going to try. If I mess anything up, please feel free to jump up and correct me. So we discussed the capital projects update from money from 2022, from like the HVAC and electrical work. We're finishing up the high school now. Slocum electrical supplies are actually arriving in January, so supposed to be by the spring. We're up and running for that. Idlehour and Pearl still need to be addressed, but the work has been awarded. Do I have that right? Oh, Pearl Electric was awarded tonight? Excellent. Okay. Okay. All right, so thank you. We talked about the roofing. OBMS is done. The high school, 2/3 of the roof is done. Phase 3 did begin last week, right? Oh, it's awarded tonight. Okay. Okay, thank you. We also discussed, of course, the high school pool renovation, the scoreboard, that the larger one is still in production. For now, we're using the one that we did obtain, which was too small, but they're using that for now so they could still proceed with their activities, but the larger one is in production. We have playgrounds that are, a lot of the playgrounds were completed. It was Idlehour, John Pearl, Boston, and Slocum. Okay. And Duffield is set to be done in December. I'm doing good so far. Okay, excellent. All right. All right. Now, we also have the exterior masonry projects, which we saw a lot when we did the walkthroughs over the summer. And that is quite a job. We had Duffield, Slocum, and John Pearl that were worked on. A lot of brick was replaced, and a lot of it had different colors, so the contractor was able to stain the bricks so everything matches, and I believe we obtained aid to help that along. The ADA stage lift. So we did a lot of ADA updates. I know outside Sycamore, the ramps, everything was updated. Now they're working on the stages. Like Sycamore has that ability where they can enter from the cafeteria, but the other stages don't quite have that. But stages that still need to be done to for ADA compliance: Cherokee, Slocum, John Pearl, Boston, and Idlehour. Okay. And we are finishing up our lead testing phase 2. The results for phase 1, which were the high school, middle schools, and Prem, what I understand, they were excellent. The results are actually on the website under plants and facilities. You can see that. It's a PDF. Phase 2 is the elementaries and CO, which will be happening soon. But okay, that fixture, where was it, Sycamore? At Sycamore. Okay, something at Sycamore that they're going through that process now. Okay. And then we also had, is it AHERA? Here for the asbestos. And that's going on. That always happens. It's done twice a year. That's been going on, and every 3 years they do like a really major one. That is set to come up this school year, correct? Let's see what we also had. There was some concerns about leaks. Of course, the Columbus Day storm, there was a lot of rain, but the roofer was working on that. He applied a liquid waterproof covering to to beams? Not beams, surrounding structure. Okay, on the roof. He applied something there which seems to be working. I haven't had enough rain yet. Okay, and then, and also they were talking, the last thing I want to bring up too is Cartoon Alley, some leaks there. It's actually an area that was built underneath, which I didn't realize this. When I was there was the arcade, that whole area in the back. And when Cartoon Alley was built, it was kind of built up to that roof. So there could be, I guess there's some issues between that new section and the overhang there. So that's being addressed as well. I think I covered everything. Excellent. Thank you. You're good at giving this information.
You're a good note taker.
Yeah, really.
And if anybody hasn't seen the pool, we had pleasure of going to see it. It is amazing. Mr. Allen, you and your team did an amazing job. Thank you. Okay, we have one more presentation, and we are moving on to Board of Ed topics. Ms. Inatelli has a presentation for our Star of Excellence program.
So I put this presentation together because I want support from the board to bring this program forward. You can go to the next page. Oh, look at that. It even makes it look nice. You can go next. So the program, the purpose of the program honors outstanding students and staff who demonstrate excellence and positive impact in the school or community. Nominees are recognized for achievements in academics, leadership, community service, personal growth, creative innovation, entrepreneurship, and kindness. The program fosters appreciation and motivation, strengthening community values, and encouraging mutual support. The next page is just the areas of recognition. This presentation is also on board docs on the school website, so if anyone would like to read it. That just defines the categories. How to nominate. I would like the form to be located on the Connecticut District website. The nomination form gathers the detailed information about both nominee and nominator, including contact and affiliation. It has the categories and the submission process after you fill out the form. I want to set something up where it just goes to the Board of Education for selection process. Next page. You know, for me, the reason that I brought this to the board is because I was inspired by my landscaper. At the age of 12, he knocked on my door and wanted to mow my lawn. And he was the cutest little kid, you know, and you're like, oh, you know, kids don't really do this nowadays, but it was pretty good. Fast forward 2 years later, he has an entire truck that he has one of these, almost like a golf cart type thing that he pulls around. He has 60 accounts. He is so professional, shakes your hand. It's unbelievable. And I really wanted a way to recognize people like him and let students and other people know that you have these opportunities too, and you could come forth and start your own business or, you know, whatever it is. And I thought it was great for the community to even know about these stories and that we would have a chance to read through these nomination forms and select students to be recognized. And I want them to be recognized through our website. They'll come here, they'll get a certificate, we'll tell a little story like the one I just told. And, you know, it encourages participation with the community, the staff, the school, students. You know, I would like this nomination form to go to the students' accounts, on their email accounts. Let them nominate one of their peers or their teachers or the custodian or, you know, anyone. The staff consists of many people here. And everybody plays a part, and, you know, I really believe we are a village, and it takes everybody to make it happen. My gosh, my daughter herself talks about the bathroom monitor on a daily basis. These people are her, like, go-to counselors, I think. So, you know, I definitely think everybody plays a part, and I would love to see people recognized. So if the board approves, I would really like to start this program as soon as possible and get the initiative rolling.
Yeah, I think it's actually, a lot of this is great. I have to say, though, and I hate to put a damper on things, I have a few concerns about it. I do believe as a Board of Education, I don't know that it's our place to choose. We're supposed to support all students, and I think this is actually a great program to maybe leave for our administrators and our teachers to nominate, or maybe the teachers nominate, and then admin selects. I think it is better coming from them, and then we as a board support our teachers, our staff, and our administrators, and of course honor those students. But I just see some concerns. I mean, the odds of this happening are slim to none, but what if all of our kids are nominated for the same thing? How do we choose? I just think I don't know that it's our place to make that selection. So I think this is actually really, really a great idea. I love honoring students. I just think it belongs to somebody else to make the choice, to choose the students who win, rather than that being on us. We're Board of Education. We focus more on policy. So of course, initiatives, absolutely. Budget. I don't know that we should be the ones looking at. It's almost like what's done for scholarships. You look through applications, and when you're on a PTA, that's your job as being on that committee, part of that PTA. Or like for me, I'm in the Bohemia Civic, so I'll go through the scholarships if I'm the one doing it. But I think as a Board of Ed, I think it's a little bit out of what we do. So while I think this is great, I wouldn't be for implementing it in that way.
So just for the record, many moons ago, we did do that. There were essays, and it pertained to the Board of Ed scholarship. Okay, so there are different ways around it. But at the very least, we could have one board member who it was her idea to be on the committee, right, or something like that. But it can be done as long as it's under the purview. This is an Anthony question, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
But there's a way to do it.
Right, we definitely can do this. I didn't want to put the onus on the schools because of the fact that they already have their own programs. This was just a board-dedicated program. And I wrote in there that it could be 5 people at a time. It was something that the board gives back. We have these are our board meetings, and I wanted to give back to the community by recognizing, like I said, students, staff, different people in our community. Right. So if you guys are on board, and again, we don't have, the majority on board, I'm okay with it.
I think it's a great idea. We'll figure it out.
I do also agree that it's a great idea. I actually didn't think of that reservation that Ms. DiLorenzo just shared. I mean, if we're okay doing it, then I'm okay doing it. But yeah, I think this is a great program and a great idea.
Yeah, my thing was just going to be like, can we iron out like any potential issue? Because I think if I'm understanding correctly, it's not even just like for students and staff. It could be anybody, right?
It could be any community member, right? Like an adult in the community.
Right. So that's like, I'm interested in what Sarah's talking about. Actually, I'm thinking about trying to figure out what it was and how it was implemented, and I think the word.
It was so long ago, I don't remember, but I remember.
It's also 1017.
But great innovative program, April.
Okay, thank you.
Transition coordinator, Miss Inatelli.
Yeah, we already spoke about it, but again, Lori, I really appreciate that, and I think it's an exceptional, again, position that we have for the school and helping.
Community member inquiries, Miss DiLorenzo.
I just want to make sure we are always hearing from people that they email, and they get nothing. Do we even send them a thank you for your inquiry? Do we have anything lined up to do it? Because I don't know.
We do, and I did tell Ms. Keller about it. You go into our board emails, and then anybody that emails us, they get an acknowledgement.
Okay, what about when it's a little bit more in depth? Because I feel like some people keep emailing. They're like, well, we're not getting an answer from admin. Are we getting back to these people?
Can I interject here? A lot of these are like rolling out on a machine, an old-fashioned machine, the same exact email. I don't like that. I think that if it's like that, then one response suffices. Nice, but also we need to also ask the attorney and or whoever, Dr. Sinnemore, whoever, whether we can address things. There are some things that we can't, because obviously we're discussing them right tonight, things like that. Having said that, we need to think about the fact that if you're going to roll out the same thing, copy paste, that's, one
And I think that we do acknowledge the community member that writes to us, and then if there is something, like we just had a community member write into us, and I'm discussing that email tonight during board discussions. Right. So I'm bringing it to the table just in this platform and not emailing back. New ideas and partnerships, Miss Inatelli. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
New ideas and partnerships, Miss Inatelli.
So, You know, we, the board, and I have had conversations with Dr. C and Ms. Poppy about highlighting our existing programs, which, as you can see tonight, we did, and our partnerships during board meetings. I believe many in our community may not be fully aware of our incredible initiatives already in place across our schools. Showcasing these efforts will help build awareness. Also on the school website, under latest news, you can see what is happening in our community. And I'm just going to read from this week. Slocum students mend furry friends during teddy bear clinic. Kindergartners at Slocum learned about injury prevention and safety during a special clinic with Stony Brook Children's Hospital. You know, like, to me, even as a board member, I don't know these things, and I go on and I see. The Connecticut students at the high school gain real-world experience through work-based learning programs. Guided by the district work-based learning coordinator, Michelle Rapone, which we have spoken about before. Several Connecticut high school students are participating in the work-based learning program. The OBMS students, our chorus, cheer, and football teams took part in Stony Brook University's homecoming game. I think that's amazing that they let us come in, perform, sing, play, football players, cheer, you know, that they make us part of the community. And, you know, Stony Brook is a local college for us, and I think it's great that that our staff members are going out and bringing these opportunities to the students and allowing them to participate in these things. I actually would like the latest news to just be a standard board discussion for me. That's always on, and I'll just bring whatever is always listed on our website if anybody wants to see it. I've also encouraged them to explore new programs that support students' educational, emotional, and social development. One inspiring example I shared was from the Cold Spring Harbor, where a high school art class partners with a prosthetics company to paint 3D doll prosthetics for children with limb differences. Students toured the facility, learned about the business side of prosthetics, and gave through meaningful community service. It was a powerful blend of education, empathy, and real-world experience. I'd love to see Connecticut engage in similar partnerships that offer students on-hand learning and make a positive impact. Parents have also showed interest in opportunities for children to become certified EMTs. We currently offer an emergency medicine class under our science curriculum. I'm hoping this can be the foundation for allowing our students to be able to sit for the written and practical EMT test. I'd like, if you could, Dr. C and Ms. Poppy, if you could find out how we become certified as a New York State official EMT course. In our course guide, the EMT course, you actually become a basic level support CPR and first aid certified. So I'm hoping because it already has certifications within the course that it's going to be easy to get this certified, and that if you, and I wrote more for the staff, that you only have to be 17 at the time of the test to be certified as an EMT. You know, this brings a job for students, you know, many other things, opportunities even to work if you're going to go to college, or work while you're still doing your trade. So I would love to see that, you know, we bring this forth and help the students. Sorry. I don't know if my other topic's on here, if I just have to bring it. Oh, okay, I'll just bring it at the end. My other topic's not here. But yeah, so that's what I want to say about the learning, that, you know, we really want to focus this year on educational, you know, different programs, bringing it to the table and bringing highlights to what we already have in place that most people, even ourselves on the board, don't know exist.
Thank you. The Junior Seal of Biliteracy Program, so that's me, and this brings me so much happiness. Ms. Poppy, so I was able to go to the law convention this weekend in New York City, and this was one of the programs that was spoken about. You know how I feel about my foreign languages. So one of the schools upstate has implemented the Junior Seal of Biliteracy. So what they do is they have a program where in 5th grade and 8th grade, you do a project and you get to earn a Junior Seal of Biliteracy, similar to the Seal of Biliteracy that you get in 12th grade. But this is like at the 5th grade level, obviously it's less cumbersome than it is at the 8th grade level and the 12th grade level. But I think that this is something that maybe we can bring to ConnectQuad and try to see how we implement it. The school upstate does it on a work on your own kind of thing with side support from the school. So a lot of the onus is on the parents to help the students at home. I don't know if maybe we can bring it into we already have the lunch and learns with the languages, so if we can bring it into that, or if we can bring it as an after-school club with the different languages that maybe other students may speak or bring to the table.
It is absolutely something we will look at very closely, obviously getting some input from Mrs. Sosa as well, who's in charge of our languages department.
I have literature that I brought with me, I just left it home.
Actually, I think Dr. Senamore brought some over to me, so it may be a duplicate.
Dr. Senamore saw my eyes light up when I heard this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this program.
Feel
so
free to
much.
share whatever you would like with me, but I do have a basis, and we did take a look at the school district that initiated this.
They even
this
had a
movement.
medal with the seal, it says Junior Seal of Biliteracy. I love this so much. If we could bring this to ConnectQuad, that'd be amazing.
We will absolutely look into it. Thank you.
Jordan Toma, that is also me. So we had a community member write into us, and they had brought this person forward. So this person is a motivational and mental health speaker. Their presentation is called "I'm Just a Kid with an IEP." So they have struggled with their own learning disabilities, and then he turned his struggle into a strength. And he wants to empower other young adults and students to turn their IEPs, their 504s, their disabilities into an I can. I don't know if maybe this is something that we can look into as a district to bring in. I think that he could help a lot of students. I know that he is associated with BOCES, so I don't know if BOCES maybe can help with costs, because I think that he can be a little costly nowadays, because I think he's in high demand because of how important and powerful his message is.
No.
I do not believe so.
He's actually from Jersey. He lives in New Jersey. 36. Yeah.
He's 39 from my research today.
Oh, yes. So
he's aged a little.
3 years since I did it yesterday. So if you remember, you were at the Disabilities Awareness Committee. We talked about a kickoff for Disabilities Awareness Month, which is in March. We have subcommittees that people had signed up for, and that's one of those subcommittees is the kickoff. One of my coordinators did bring to me Jordan Tomei. She saw him that he was going to speak in Sable. So I reached out to him or to his agent, and we have a back and forth going on. He is available during the beginning month of March, but he is about $7,500 to do one presentation. But he is through BOCES. He is through the arts and schools through BOCES. So we are looking into it. It's just targeting who do we want to target. I looked at the 2 middle schools possibly doing. So we would have to do at least one presentation in each middle school, and each one of those presentations would be $7,500.
So I read his website.
Each.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I read, and he actually, his main group that he caters to is elementary school students. So when we think of that, we have to remember we have 7 elementary schools, and if the board is bringing something forward, that is a big expense because it's 7 elementary schools. So as many of us know, our PTAs take care of these presentations. I had the pleasure of speaking to one of our elementary school principals today about the important role PTAs play in supporting our schools. Having served on the PTA for many years, I've seen firsthand how these organizations collaborate closely with school leadership to align with school goals and prioritize what's best for the students. One of the key ways the PTAs contribute is through the Cultural Arts Program, which brings enriching experiences to the student body, such as performances, guest speakers, and interactive activities. Examples include the circus, dancing classrooms, the They facilitate these programs. The PTA often works with BOCES, which provides access to a wide range of cultural and educational offerings. Booking through BOCES also allows PTAs to earn credits that can be applied towards future activities, minimizing the impact to their budget. It's perfectly normal and often encouraged for PTAs to fund speakers and programs they believe will positively impact students. Each school has its own unique goals, priorities, and students' needs. So what works for one might not work well for another. That's why it's typically more effective to keep these decisions at the school level. This allows the PTA to work directly with the principal and staff to identify opportunities that align with the school's vision and benefit the student body in meaningful ways. I truly wish our school had the resources to bring in every speaker and program recommended throughout the year, but unfortunately we simply don't. That's why I'm especially grateful for the incredible parents and guardian volunteers who are on our PTAs and bring forth all these programs. So if there is a particular school, me personally, unless there's a grant that we can get, because I'm definitely, free is always good, that's just very expensive for one speaker. And if these PTAs are fundraising and would like the speaker there, they definitely get a discount through BOCES and will get a, again, a credit towards their next year.
So I love all the work that the PTAs do. I was a part of the PTA throughout my children's lower level education. Once they went to the middle school, sorry, but I dozed off. And I know that they have a cultural arts program that they implement, but that does not mean that we as a board cannot recommend or bring up these programs. I mean, we had John Paul Gonzalez, who has an amazing message that he brings to people. He's also very expensive. He was $10,000 for his presentation, and we paid $500 through the district because we were able to get grants and monies to go pay towards his fee. So there's no reason why we can't bring this up and ask the district to try to see if we can find ways to fund.
Was it one $10,000 flat fee?
For John Paul? Yeah.
That would be the difference.
Well, he only did one presentation.
Well, no, he's doing the middle school, the high school, and he did the teachers.
So the middle schools are separate through the PTA.
Yeah, so he's getting paid another.
Right, but he did one for the older kids in the high school, he did one for the younger, two separate sessions, right?
He did
2 sessions.
Right. And I do agree that, of course you should bring this forward, and 100%, if we can get a grant and it's cheap, 1,000%. I just want everybody to know there is an avenue and that these are taken care of on school level because PTAs do bring these programs to the school, especially depending on the, school, student body and what they need. But 100%, if we can do this for free, I just feel $7,500, especially that's only one session. We do have 7 elementary schools. It's hard to pick and choose. We're going to do it for one school.
Right. And there's nothing that, like, conversation, we have 10 schools. What kind of deal can you give us? Character building, Miss Iannatelli.
So the training conference that Marisol spoke about earlier, during last week's virtual training, I had the privilege of hearing from a speaker who passionately advocated for bringing character building back into our schools, starting at the elementary school level. He shared results from a recent survey asking what students most need to learn in school, and character development ranked 3rd on the list, beating out reading and writing. Following that session, I reached out to Dr. Sia, Ms. Poppy, to learn more about the programs our social workers are currently implementing in grades K-5. My hope is that we take a proactive approach to develop character-building lessons across all grade levels. These lessons don't have to be complex. Something as simple as asking students to write down what they're thankful for each day can spark reflection and gratitude. Encouraging collaboration among students helps them learn to appreciate one another's strength and the differencing, fostering a culture of kindness and reducing bullying. By embedding character education into everyday learning, we can help students grow. It's essential that we start early, introducing basic life lessons at the elementary level. This will lay the foundation for respect, empathy, behavior, and help prevent bullying as students move into the secondary level. We must ensure we're doing everything we can to help our students become the best versions of themselves. Simple, consistent practices help build a supportive school culture where students can learn from one another rather than tear each other down. Character building isn't just a curriculum add-on, it's a vital part of shaping well-rounded, compassionate individuals who are prepared to thrive in school and beyond. So I had listed a few examples, but I really, I'm going to mention this probably every meeting. I want to see what the day-to-day activity inside the classroom, and, I mentioned it with Ms. Pisani, doing an assembly, and I agree with Marisol, that doesn't prevent the bullying. We can't just throw these things in there every once in a while. It has to be a constant every day, building this character, creating a positive atmosphere. So we are cutting down on the bullying. Will we ever get rid of it? I doubt it, but we should be doing the best we can to ensure that kids feel safe in school and don't have to have the bullying and follow them through all the steps. We start, in high school. We can't start in high school with the bullying prevention and saying now, oh, you got to be good. We have to start from very young in instilling all these character building qualities into our students. Again, the day-to-day classroom. So I really would like to see what we can do. And, I did ask for that information from about the social workers and what programs they implemented. So hopefully I'll have them next meeting and I can speak more about this. Thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to bring up board norms. So as a board, we did meet for part 2 of our retreat, and we did come up with some board norms, which hopefully we will implement and approve at our next board meeting. And don't we have to approve them?
Sorry?
Don't we have to approve the norms?
I thought that's what we discussed, that we weren't, it wasn't official, it isn't a policy, it's essential guidelines for us. Essentially, it's guidelines for us.
Yes, and we'll
Not a
just-
non-policy, so what's there to approve? That's a genuine question, I'm not trying to be facetious.
No, sure. I just thought that we had to approve them as part of our norms. This is something that we're going to have and try to implement,
Right.
adopt.
So we're acting like this is a real policy?
No, it's not a policy, it's just a norm.
Okay, so just for the record, I'm not approving anything like that. This was ideas tossed out, really good ideas for us in an honor-based system to follow. It's not policy,
Correct.
It's not anything, so not quite sure where we're voting, what we're exactly voting on. Just throwing that out there.
I think if I'm understanding right, it's because the idea would be obviously as new boards members come in and come out, like maybe there'll be changes to those, but like this would be the type of norms that if somebody new is on, like this was what they would be given as just like the guideline. But it's not, unless
It's
I'm
not a
wrong.
policy.
Right, like there's no enforcement mechanism for
enforcement,
them.
right, correct.
It's just us saying we had the conversation, basically.
Which is great, and I'll be the one to pay for it and laminate it and hand it to the next board member. Swear to God, I'm not voting on
So
anything.
during that meeting, we also discussed board goals, and we created a form for community members to fill out, which hopefully we will get out to the community soon. And we had a tentative date to meet with the community in January. So there's more to come on that. I just wanted to apprise the community of that. And Ms. Parisi, you had something you wanted to bring up?
One more thing on, I'm sorry, in the wood room. I thought, because I also didn't think it was something we were approving. I thought it was actually something that everybody wanted to sign, which I don't know if approval means sign, because I have no intentions of signing it. While I do agree, of course, we'll work towards that, but I'm not going to be signing it, so I don't know. Like, I just don't know where that
Yeah,
falls in
sure.
with the
I
approval.
actually didn't think we had to sign it. I thought it was just,
Okay.
maybe we can get more guidance from NISBA about the board norms. Ms. Parisi.
Okay, so my question is, I want to know who is, when in the past, when Gail Santo was here, she would get people that things didn't mesh, and they would suspect that a child and a family didn't live in the district. And if I'm not mistaken, because this is when I was on the board, they gave it to Mr. Flynn, and he would go and find out, and that's how you save money, because how much does it cost to educate per kid? So I heard, I want this clarified for me, that there's no one looking into that any longer. So in fact, we have so many it's not even countable students that are highly suspect as to not living in this district. Is this accurate? I know I'm hearing crickets, but
Well, yeah, well, I'll check in with student services. I do not believe at this time we have any designated person or contracted investigator.
how
But
could that
certainly
be?
when there's a concern, student services is able to reach out to the family. But in terms of,
No,
an
but-
investigator or somebody. Go ahead.
Dr. Senmore, you reach out to a family and they say, yes, we do live in this district. And in fact, they don't. Hence the investigation. And that's what, by the way, we're boogieing on to a lot of money here. If we have absolutely no one looking into it, I want to know why that is. I want to know how long it's been going on, because we're talking big bucks. And by the way, I brought this up another meeting before I was on the board. Again, crickets, no answers. The simple fact is that when things go down, you hand it off, or we used to hand it off to our security team. It was under their purview. Not understanding why that went, why it went, and what's going on. By the way, very scary. So can I have an answer relatively soon on this?
Yeah, I'll put it in an update.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Wait, one more. Don, am I mistaken about this? You used to do it when you first got on, when you first were hired here, correct? How many years did you do it for? Until Miss Santos left? Ah, so years. Okay, thank you.
I actually had something else that I wanted to bring up. Okay. I wanted to just, I don't think we have this in our policies, but there is I guess it's a public officers law, section 18. And it is something that, which as I understand it, it indemnifies board members or people if they're acting within, if they're doing something, acting within the scope of their duties. As board members, in our case, or, a staff member, if they're acting within the scope of their duties. So the reason I bring that up is because one of the big topics in the news right now, Massapequa, Locust Valley, what they have done with their policies to reflect federal Title IX. And part of their policies, what they wrote, which they are, of course, getting pushback from New York State, reflect executive orders from President Trump, 14168. And these executive orders identify only 2 genders, and they reflect this. And it's all about Title IX. Now, I may not agree with me, but I feel New York State's laws on this are basically trying to legalize sexual discrimination and all of this. It tends to make people unsafe by forcing districts and organizations to, I'm trying to say this without being shut down, by forcing mixed genders in places that they should not be. Of course, would love to see us adopt what Massapequa did. I would love to see us join them because I think they are on the right side of things. They are on the moral side of things. I tend to believe that New York State law, New York State in general, lacks morals. They have no, I don't care about age appropriateness or anything. And I would love to see us adopt this. I don't think that's going to happen. Love to have this discussion right now, but I don't see that happening. But I do support what Massapequa's doing, as well as Locust Valley. And in the light of the fact that I don't see us taking action, I would love for somebody to tell me that that's not the case. We'll have this discussion, but I do want to make it clear to everybody in our buildings that you should not feel uncomfortable in your space where you are. And nor should you even feel that if you express discomfort with your space, you are a bigot or you're anything else, because that's also the way things go. That people are afraid of being labeled or they're being afraid of called names. That's just what's been happening for many years. And I want to make sure that our students, all genders, our girls are protected, our boys protected, everybody's protected, that you feel safe enough that you can see something, say something, and that we will support our students. I do not feel that our current policies, because they are straight from New York State, actually do support all of our students. I think they are very leaning in one side, and part of the reason why I didn't want to approve anything tonight, because I don't think that they have any morals, not necessarily that ConnectWatt is like that, but the policies coming down from NISBA lack moral compass, and I don't agree with that. I think we need to protect our students, and I want to make sure that if you are not comfortable, come to me, because I want every student to feel comfortable. We'll put that out there.
Sorry, I had one more. Oh, sorry. Dr. Centimore, an addendum to this. Please, when we're getting the information about no kids being followed up on whether they live in this district or not, please. I can't handle another outside firm coming in. Just throwing it out there, okay? Also, it's not just a monetary issue, which is huge. There are kids out there that are troubled kids, okay, that potentially are causing kids that live in this district real problems. And that's what I'm concerned about as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do you ladies want to speak? Okay, so nope, I just have to go through the whole thing and then you can speak at the podium. I'm sorry. I will now open the floor for the second open public comment portion of the agenda. I will call individuals forward one at a time. Please wait for my acknowledgement before stepping up to the podium. You should have received a number card from security on your way in. If you have not, please see a security guard in the back of the room. Any person wishing to address the board shall address the board president. Comments should be kept as brief as possible and relate to school matters only. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for one or more topics. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The use of foul language and threatening comments will not be tolerated, and the board will consider a recess until order is restored. In accordance with Policy 1230, public comment will not exceed 30 minutes. If there are additional persons wishing to speak, the board may consider a motion to extend the time. Number 1. You do. And you have to press the microphone so the people at home could hear. I'm sorry.
The voice needs to be heard. All I wanted to say was for that speaker that you're interested in having, and I watched him on Facebook a million times and he's very good, you could use your buses and your bus drivers to take half the elementaries to the high school for a morning session, and then in the afternoon, half the children, and then he'd only be there one day.
There you go. See, I love you ladies. What a great idea. Thank you. And then we could have one session and save money. Thank you. Can I please call for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Sabrina, you got that? Everybody have a good night. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Thank you. Oh, our clocks go back Sunday. Don't forget.